AMD also breaking higher as well. So AMD back through the volume weighted average price, maybe that's going to be something that can spark the market back higher. But yet, I still kind of feel like we do head to that 2% mark. So scalp the longs and maybe look for some pop and fade shorts throughout lunchtime, when we'll hopefully enjoy today's lunch.
I think we will.
I think so. Let's go over to the boys. I know there's some small cappers that are moving, because if you're looking for longs on days like today, usually it's in small cap land. So good luck, Sharif. Good luck, Joe.
Bang, bang. Welcome. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And where all my people at? Here we go. They're wheezing on in. Shout out to the 420 Budster. Shout out to Sol G and Liquidity Knots. How about Common Sense? I always like that name. Hobo Furry. All right, John is something or another. Stuart, we got Yummy Thai Food. Mike PD Weather. We got Ahmed, Yannick, Aaron, All Class Adam, Travman, Oxlong, and Rex Banner joining us as well. Shout out to Christopher Ocean and Darth Trader. Thomas in the house. Hefty Bull. He be hefty. We got Grun. We got Brown Lighting. Frank Trades. Vin City Life. Something or other. Buffalo Soldier. Dave L. and John Neal. Not spelled like our Neil, different Neil. Sahil Botwick's in the house as well. Okay, I just shouted out an automated system. Rookie Trader, Shadow Rap, Just Do It, Steve M, Keely Deely, Bulo, Poppy Facts. We got Buffalo Soldier Son and Ja L Press. Ben Affleck, really? We got Andre A, not Arsesino, Bro Jogan, and Jean. Steven, good morning to everybody. I heard you were in till like 10 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. 8:30? The Chilean Nightmare was here late, putting together the new production team. Guys, behind us is the leaderboard. Remember, do not forget to vote every day. Right now, who's that? ONDS leading the way, followed by Tesla, Meta on there as well. We got Oscar Health, we got NVIDIA, Apple, the dead ones up there too, Joey. We got a whole bunch of names. Make sure to vote every single day. You got to throw in that $sign before the ticker of your choice, so Joey.
Money, yeah, absolutely, man. I hope everyone's having a half-decent morning. It's definitely a tricky one without any question, Ryan O'Day. But hey, brother, you got to keep with that strong mental. I was off to a rough start this morning as well too, but if you keep that composure and you stay level-headed, if the market's going to be allowing you to do, you'll be able to put on some solid trades. So let's get it started and see what we were cooking up here earlier on the day. So we started off with the initial long on, you guessed it, yes, Joe's trading IBIT. Those for who got that right, there you go. You get a hero cookie there today. So bang, stopped out, no problem. I'm like, oh, okay, really strong. Excuse me, so essentially what I'm doing is I'm following this volume, and sure enough, I'm like, you know what, we'll get out break even there. Gives me the prime time opportunity to wait for a better price. We had like triple the amount of size on what we had up here, and then boom, 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 we take some off and then get stopped out break even. And then the system that I'm currently running right now is we can see it across the board here, guys. A lot of these names, and I was referring to it earlier, is that these support level breaks. So we have these definitive bases being formed and they're starting to snap. And I've noticed this occurring quite often as of late. So essentially I just decided to flip short. No one wants to buy Bitcoin right now. No problem. Let's go with the flow and head this a little bit lower. Okay. So there it is. Bang. IBIT cooking up one more there, Shreve.
Take your time, brother.
CSCO earnings. Didn't work out how we wanted to, no problem. We take 2 losses on that one, and then we just avoid it at all costs and just focus on something that has been working for us, and that is going to be Bitcoin. Yeah, and I know, I understand, guys, it's not looking too good in the crypto space, but things will turn around. Shout out to covered call writing as well, too, because that is helping with that poor man's covered call stuff. Joe, I don't know if you remember my Zim options question, but I finally trimmed with the puts. We're buying the puts and selling the calls, still holding some. 288% profit, what I paid for the call. Bang, I love hearing that. Congratulations to you. Netflix looking pretty good. Yes, we like that one. And there goes Bitcoin continuing to bleed. I think we're going to run into $57.
All right, Joey. Thank you, Bovin, for NVE, sub $1. So it will make its way onto the side chart, but we will not be trading it as of yet. I'm talking about NVE. 61 pennies. Shout out to the OG Bub. All right. let's get right down to business. There's not too much to trade today in small cap gapper world, okay? I'm in right now OLTK. This is the biggest, the baddest right now of the small cap gappers in terms of price action. The biggest, the baddest in terms of percentage up on the day is top left of your screen, IDN. It is up 40, almost 49%, 48.88, holding above volume weighted average price, putting in those higher lows for the most part. Underline that, for the most part, it does respect the 10 EMA. We're gonna see if we can get through that 680 level. Let's see what we can do with this one. So this one looks like it's taking out 75 right now. 695 is the high, but take a gander over here at how the price action is manifested at 680. It has had a very hard time of it to clear that 680 level. So my strategy upon first glance here is to build a position near the area lows. I'm thinking 650, 660. Maybe if you're, you really can't get those prices, 670. The idea here being that you're gonna get that flat top break through 682, possibly into 7. Try to pick up the higher lows. I wouldn't base my stops on the volume weighted average price because it has a tendency to breach VWAP and then reclaim it. So if that's the case, why would you put your stop below VWAP? You're asking for it, okay? Now, what you're gonna see here is I've got a whole bunch of quantum names, inverse leveraged ETF for the quantum names, and that's because the pickings are slim, okay? So RGTZ, IONZ, and PLTZ. That's Palantir inverse because Palantir is getting crapped on today, which is fine. 695 high on PLTZ, looking to work its way into 7. It's been awfully respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5, and it also had a fantastic day yesterday, which means Palantir got crapped on again yesterday. So we'll see how many days in a row Palantir keeps getting crapped on, all right? So that's what we're gonna look at right now, but make sure, guys, if you are not a subscriber of the stream and you are watching, it personally offends Joseph and I. No, I'm kidding, of course, we're exaggerating for effect. Yeah, please, guys, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to get that number into the mid-80s. It's been ticking a little bit higher. I think that number started around 75, 74 and change. So now it's at almost 79%.
21.4%. 21. Yeah, make sure you got, hold on.
You have the option to like and subscribe.
No. Hit that there.
Unlimited
because in all reality, you got an option, but hey, just go on ahead and do it. Guys, we're just slowly piecing some out. It's the exact same thing in which I was talking about earlier in the day about just support levels being broken. If this closes as an indecision, then oh well, so be it. But I do like our chances of a potential climb a little bit higher. As long as we establish a higher low, or lower high, sorry, is what I'm looking for. Hold on, let's pull this up so we can see it a little bit more clear. So we have this downtrend, and then as long as this next pullback isn't overly deep and it looks like we're gonna completely bounce, then I like our chances. So a nice lower high right there, and then the continuation to the downside, just looking for these support levels to break in yesterday's post-market and in which we're experiencing today from an intraday session. So yeah, that's what we got cooking up, guys. Other than that, I'm gonna be looking across the board for some potential setups and maybe even dip a little bit into small cap land if Sharif sees anything that he likes in particular. And then we're gonna ride on that because yesterday it's a lot of fun. Those are momentum style trades that I really like to take. Obviously, you can see that what I noticed yesterday, Sharif, with some of them is that the consolidations are pretty long, and then you get buyers stepping in, and then it wipes up like a couple of, like 20, 30 cents, and then it cools off a little bit.
Small cap?
Yeah. And then it just goes crazy, and then it goes crazy, cools down a little bit. And I was watching some from home yesterday, just going over some of the price action, and that's what I like about them. So we'll continue to look out for that. As for now, we're just short JD and IBIT.
I think Adira is calling. Okay, Andre, I think she's calling, brother.
Guys, I want to talk about Verizon because this one getting a pop to the upside. VZ on watch. Wall Street Journal reporting the company is going to cut roughly 15,000 jobs. VZ here with potential, it looks like job cuts here, according to Wall Street Journal. Back to you.
Thank you for that. All right. We're in OLTK, so we're in a couple of trades right now. I've got into IDN, and I'm building my position into this one. As I mentioned, I like the higher lows, but there goes OLTK through the high of the day. It's at 180. We got 72s on right now, so let's go ahead and set up some above 80, looking for the continuation on OLTK. The deal with this one is for the most part, and I really will say that a lot today because there have been multiple breaches on some of these small caps. So for the most part, it is respecting the 10 EMA. Now, when did it start doing that? Well, when it claimed it, 10:05. So most of the dips have come in, held up, wick close or otherwise at that 10 EMA. But this one has a tendency, a propensity to retrace when it makes a high of day. Let me make my case to you. 8:30, we price spike up, boom, right into 172, down we go all the way to 133. Oh, take a look at this one over here. The 10-20 candle, boom, high of day, 175, down we go into 154. So be on the lookout for retracements, aggressive retracements, mind you, when we make new highs of days, especially on aggressive price spikes. So get kind of used to the characteristics of the name which you're trading, and try to finagle it into your little zone there. So I've posted up at 82, as I mentioned. 80 is the high of the day. 81 now. Let's see if we can work up into 82. There's a seller, big seller. Look at that red tape, the red on the tape, excuse me, coming quite aggressively. Also, look for that blue on my screen. When you see a mix of red and blue, typically not a good thing. Blue below the bid, red sell at the bid. Orange above the ask, green sell at the ask or buy at the ask. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at right now. Showing me 81s. It looks like we're taking out some sellers here on OLTK at 81, looking for a price spike into 82, and then I'm waiting at 88. So this one looks good. 82, there it is. There we go. We get the fill. 83s now showing up. Can we get continuation, or are we going to get that retracement down like we just spoke about after we make new area highs? I'm ready. My resting DCAs are there. As you can see, the cyan on the screen, 67s we're waiting, 62s, and then I might even post some lower ones near the volume weighted average price. So OLTK in focus for me. Let's see what comes of this one. IDN, the other one I want to talk about over here. We're building a position. Where do we get in over here? Allow me a sec just to look at the blata. We got in at 72. It's showing me 73s, but the spread is 1 penny, so technically we are at the money. There's 74 now on IDN. Now, alas, I did not get filled on that dip trade at 61, despite the fact that it got into low 60s, showing me 74s now, looking for continuation. This thing's up 50%. We need to put some dang respect on this one's name, Joey.
Best believe
it's
that,
a little bit light on volume, mind you, 7.5 million shares. It's not bad. It's not great. Where's the next profit taker we're waiting at? We're waiting at 77. So we need a couple more shekels to reach up this one. Bernard, hi Sharif, can you do a breakdown of CoreWeave? I absolutely will, Bernard, but I got to let you know that these are not names that I trade intraday. So, maybe my, wow, there goes IDN.
Hold on, my boy, hold on. World.
Why did you do that? Are you an IDN?
No,
I can't. Like, what are the odds of both
of
us taking prints at the same time like that? Anyway, IDN just price spiked up, Joseph Options. Now we're going to wait at 90. There is 90, and there's 93, Joey. Now we're waiting at 98. So let's see if we can do it again here on IDN. The breakout is on. It is a 95 high. I think we just took out 93s, meaning that we are technically still below HOD on the day. Be on the lookout. Here comes the retracement. This one did the same crap before. Look at the 5-minute candle on IDN at 950. It makes that 695 high day, and then it proceeds to absolutely tank into 622. Be on the lookout, boys. We're going to Adara.
Keep an eye here on the APA Corporation. Really nice spike to the upside for APA, which that is the ticker. I'm seeing some reports suggesting that Repsol is considering a merger with their $19 billion upstream unit here with APA Corp. So again, some merger talks here for APA Corp and the upstream unit of Repsol. APA is the ticker as we send you back to Sharif and Joe.
Thank you for that. All right, we're going to look at CoreWeave. So I see a bear flag forming here below the volume weighted average price. In fact, Joey, it kind of looks like it's using VWAP as that area of resistance. So flip this upside down. What do you got? What do you see? Right? You flip it 180 degrees to the top side. It'd be a bull flag, right? So this to me spells bear flag. Now, what's the move? The move to me here is to get short off the volume weighted average price. It's worked once. It's worked twice. It worked OB, he is the one thrice, and then it did it another time here for the 4th time at 1040. So look, I'm not saying it's going to keep doing it again, but if you're trying to put the odds on your side, and that's what we're trying to do as traders, I'm looking short between 81 to 81 and a quarter. possibly riding it down into 79.50. Now, it could have more of an aggressive retracement to the high side, especially if the market in general catches a bid, in which case, what I would be looking for here is whole dollar rejections, 82, 83, and then ultimately, I wouldn't be looking to go short if we were to take out that pre-market low. That pre-market low takes us into about 83.5. I'd start looking long at that part, okay? At that point, excuse me. So that's what I'm seeing right now on CoreWeave, but I really need to, caveat that whole statement, which say I don't trade these names intraday, so you're gonna have to make of that what you will. Joseph Option.
All right, brother. Yeah, so I mean, we're getting involved in a little IDN, looking for that break here. That move wasn't sustained. I mean, if we crack through this support level, then we'll just hop out of it and then reassess the situation to see if we can find a potential second entry on that one. I'm starting to like NVDA off of these lows, guys. Lots of buying pressure within these prints here, so we'll keep an eye on that. As long as this low doesn't crack, we start to form that base, curl over, and then bang, we can participate to the long side on that one. Now, I want to add a little bit to my JD position as well, too, just in case this floor does want to snap. I have a strong hunch that it will at some point. You just have to be patient enough, wait for that prime time. There is an indecision print off of these lows that we do have to be cautious about. So as soon as we start grinding a little bit higher, then I'll just hop out of that trade, no worries. But the one thing that is really working for us today is going with the flow, and that's going to be IBIT. Much easier. Sean, there's big time fear in the crypto market, my friend. We smelt that a long time ago. If you go back and look at my X, on my X post, I think it was during October, I mentioned the earlier days of October. After that FOMC meeting in September, I'm like, something's not right here. I thought we would have got a sustained move with the 25 bips cut and the government shutdown. No, and then I put a post on X saying, are we going to be heading into a crypto winter? And sure enough, we have Ethereum down 30-something%. We have Bitcoin down 25%. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. We're going to accept it. We're going to continuously hold on to our position because, you know what, we got diamond hands. But at some point, you have to come to the realization that, yeah, diamond hands is all fun, but you also want to remain logical because people don't care at the end of the day. It's your money, and you have to manage it. So there it goes, bang. Bitcoin about to put in a new low of the day. No buyer stepping in whatsoever. It's like a complete desert out here. They want no part of this thing right now. And I was listening to some individual on CNBC last night. He's like, yeah, Bitcoin's a trade right now. Bitcoin's a trade. I'm like, all right, brother. I don't know if you've seen it as of late. It's not looking too good. But there we go. We piece a little bit more on IBIT. This is our better trade of the session. What do you got?
This is a big announcement, Joey. TraderTV Academy is coming soon, guys. This is huge. We have been working relentlessly to bring you this much requested platform, and it is soon ready, baby. We'll be covering stuff we can't always get on the live stream. We're talking about our mindset, trading mindset, of course, trading psychology, as well as risk management. And whether you're a newer or a more experienced trader, there is absolutely something valuable in it for you. So stay tuned for more information. And guys, make sure you're subscribed and following us on the social media platforms, all of them, baby, because you don't want to miss out when we actually launch. Shut up. To Trader TV, baby. Of which we're very proud. All right, Joey, let's get right down to it. The OG Bovin strikes again. How did he strike? Well, he showed me NVE. I happen to like this one, but as I'm always going to preface this, it's sub $1, and the ones that are sub $1 are just thicker trades. You have 4 decimal places, meaning that you can post at a zillion more different places than you can post above $1. So here's the deal. We got a 64.50 high. I'm talking about, bless you, Katina, man. You got a 64.5 penny high. We're at 61 pennies at the moment. Okay, let me just look at something real quick over here. So what I'm going to try to do is I want to build a position into this, okay? I like the range between 55 pennies and 60 pennies. There's certainly support there with it looking like it wants to take out 65 pennies as the next level. So what's the move? The move is we're going to be punching in here, okay? And then we're going to look to build the position into 55. So we already got in at 61, meaning that we got to post something over here in case price spikes up, and then we'll also post at 65 as well. But we also want to get some DCAs ready, right? So I'm going to go ahead and post at 57. We're going to be waiting for a buy order at 57. Then we're going to look to defend into 55 as well. So that's the deal there. Oops. I don't want to sell. I want to buy. So there we go. Now we put the orders in. Let's see what NVE has to offer. And guys, I got to tell you, that the inverse quantum ETFs are all absolutely ripping.
Oh,
Look
man.
at Rigetti, mom's frickin' spaghetti at the day high, 28.96. It's all gas, no frickin' brakes. IONZ, and you know this, I don't want to say IONZ is a small cap capper. It's not. But it's trading like one, and it has a very similar price to one, 5 3/4. You can size in substantially there and make a big boy trade. Also, PLTZ, obviously not quantum, but trading very much similarly to small caps in the sense that it's cheaper, 695, holding trend, mostly the 10 EMA, so you'll be able to ride the trend into this day. Yeah, I know. I said it's not quantum Kentita, man. Yeah. So you'll be able to buy this one off the 10 EMA, you know, on the retracements. So keep your eye on those three. They're good trades on the day, but they are going to be, of course, subject to the whims of their parent stock. Those parent stocks, of course, are the actual names. Before we go to Adara, I want to say OLTK just came down. It didn't fill me because, well, I had my dip trade based upon the previous price of the 10 EMA. So we're going to go ahead and take that one out, and we're going to punch in right here for a little bit more. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, keep an eye here. Here's the market, but keep an eye on some of these Chinese ADRs as well. Potentially, I am seeing apparently Senate Democrats are asking Trump to renew China export curbs. I want to mention as well, keep an eye on Tesla and Apple. I'm just seeing this TSLA reportedly developing support for Apple's CarPlay in a move that's been long requested. So Apple CarPlay and TSLA collaboration being reported here. Neither stock moving too much on this, though, guys. Back to you.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone was complaining in the Rivians and Teslas that they don't have CarPlay, right? I mean, yeah, if you don't care, you don't care. The Volkswagen has it. The Atlas, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, then you know all about it then. So then, yeah, okay. All right, guys, we got the dip trade on IDN. What do we got here, Joe? We got 61s. We just wet the beak at 69. We're posting the 70s. We're posting the 80s. Come what may. Joseph Options, what are you looking at?
Yes, sir. All right, so we're just continuously piecing out here as Bitcoin. We can't stop the bleeding, man. It doesn't even matter what you try with this thing right now. As you can see, that downtrend is still fully intact here. Establish a new low, so we've just been slowly piecing it out. At that support level break, boom, we get a nice little move. I looked at the breadth volume profile, just falling off a cliff, so no buyer stepping in. I add into the position, boom, 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 boom. We double it up, and then now you're starting to get a little bit of a bounce, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Now, as for JD, we're adding into this as well. This is going to be a grinder, 110%. But once again, same system, same style of trade, support level. You get that momentum to the top side, come back down, and then now you're just kind of consolidating, accumulating right around this specific $31. And if that gives, then 30.80 is most definitely going to be one of my primary targets on JD. Bitcoin going to 78K once it breaks 98K. Remember I said that a while ago. Okay, Rich buddy, like you're shorted, hopefully. You shorted Bitcoin. And if that's the case, if you truly believe that it's going to drop another 25%, then you have to put your money where your mouth is at the end of the day. All right, so as for Amazon, NVDA, a couple of the larger names, starting to see some buying pressure step in within these candles. All right, so if we start to curl over, that base being formed right at 185.33s on NVDA, that curls over. We're involved on that one without any form of questioning. And then now also, what we're going to go over here right now is some of the volume names. I have Sharif's small cap scanner up here as well, too. So there's IDN, Sharif, right at the top of the list, my boy. Woo.
Hey,
and then you got CLBT. That's got about 2 million shares traded on the day. ACVA, what is that one up to? Let's take a gander on that one. Oh, man, I just had a big-time breakthrough not too long ago on this bloody platform. I'm like, all right, there it is. Dude, I'm like, what the? I'm like, for so long, I'm like, why isn't this thing showing me pre-market on the advanced charts? Like the pre-market.
Oh, you gotta turn it on.
Yeah,
you should ask me.
I did before, remember? And you're like, man, I don't even know how these ones really work.
Yeah. You didn't want to switch.
But then I'm like, man, I was getting super frustrated because I had like multiple things up, and I'm like, all right, too many tabs. It's overstimulating, and I look at this little clock right here. I decide to click it, and then bang, next thing you know, you figure out what you've been looking for and longing for quite some time. 1 2 1 2. We hear you there, Assassino.
That was Chilean Nightmare.
That was Chilean Nightmare over there. Yeah, sorry about that one there, brother. But yeah, as for Fresh too, Sharif, have you seen Fresh on the day looking like it wants to tank, head towards some key support levels as well too. FU. That one's not too much volume. Yeah, chill out, brother. No, but in all seriousness, FISIV, there, Raphael Fazeev, we'll call this one there for those who know what that is. Nice inverted hammer candle right at these highs. Oh, there goes. All right, Wusa, be calm, all right? Be calm and cool. This is what we are looking for. Bang, look at that move to the downside in JD.com, guys. Support levels breaking, and that's just what we're looking for, essentially. A nice pop to the top side right there, but we're gonna trim a little bit, guys. Bang on JD as the support broke.
All right, guys. We've got a bit of a flush on OLTK. We're adding it to the position. We got 68s. It's showing 58s now, so that's a little bit of trouble. Let's see if it holds up here. 50 pennies is my line in the sand. We're doing okay, though, on IDN. Still, you know, holding above VWAP, but the breakouts are what they are, right? But we have to expect this. If we're punching in at highs, we've seen it before. 950 makes a high, drops. We got to get again at 1110, makes a new high, drops. That's fine. OLTK, much the same story, which is why I'm trying to get in here. There we go. There we go. We'll get into there. And then that's basically it. We're going to give it to a little bit below 50 pennies so we don't get stop hunted, but that's my move on that one. NVE still holding up, trying to break above 60 pennies now. It looks like there's a seller at between high 50s to, you know, to 59s. 58 to 59 is what I'm trying to say there. So let's see if we can get above 60. It's still putting in higher lows, so I do like the way that this one is trading at the moment. OLTK, we probably need to throw in some orders on this one. So let's go ahead and throw in some orders for a price spike, and then we'll layer the orders there. So just give me a sec. There we go. Now we're layering said orders. And I want to layer a few more as well, I'm not gonna lie. Corey Ewing. Thank you, Corey, for the $10 super chat yesterday following the LPTX stock that had your attention. Sniped some juicy option contracts that ended the day well over 100% in value. LPTX changed security ticker to CYPH. Contracts gone. Joe, what the hell? So I don't know why it did that, but you're absolutely right, because what I do is I leave my screens on the tickers that I traded yesterday. And when I got in, LPTX had nothing on the time and sales coming, but or the level 2, mind you, but I still saw the chart data. So I wondered the exact same thing as you. Thank you for explaining that, because I had no idea. But you know how I feel about the small cap cappers that I traded yesterday. Sometimes I don't even remember the tickers because they're so irrelevant to me in that sense. They're around for a good time, not a long time. So Joe, what happens with the contract once it changes tickers?
It should just roll over, right? And I don't think they're gonna settle with you. So maybe it's gonna take a time. I don't think the contract should just be gone. It should change into CYPH. That may take a little bit of time. Also, just call your broker as well too to see what they're up to and see what they're gonna tell you. They would give you a much better answer than I personally can, because I've never been through that type of situation. So yeah, it should roll over. Patience is key on that one. But here is JD.com, guys. Boom, heading lower. Support level at 31 snapped. You get 10 cents automatically to that flush to the downside. We like that one. And the market, I believe, is going to continue to bleed. I know, Pathik, I see what you're saying, brother, but if we just take a look at what we got going on here from a daily standpoint, it's really important to correlate what we have on a daily. So now we're starting to fill that gap. Yeah, maybe you can get a bounce when you run into 105, but that's going to be at the close of this, I believe it was Monday or last week's session. So if once that hits, you want to look for rejections in and around that zone. Otherwise, it might just continue in that path, and you don't want to overly fight it. Bottom catching and falling knives today might be a little bit more tricky. Anything can happen, especially in this market. If I'm going to long something, it's going to be the stronger names: NVDA, AMD, Amazon, etc. I don't even want to look at Meta to see what it's doing. But anyways, aside from that,
606.
Yeah. Is it 606?
Yeah.
All right, so we're about $10 or so out of the money on that one, 11 to be exact. But that's all right. We got that move up into 635. I like our chances of getting there. Again, I think over the next couple of months, just keep buying this thing, keep buying it, keep buying it. It's just because we're so hyper-focused on its day-to-day price action. At the end of the day, Meta is an absolute juggernaut when it comes to the social media space. When you have billions and billions of people on your platform, it's hard, in my opinion, it's hard to lose at that point.
There goes NVE Bovin. You should have stayed on this one and you keep changing all the tickers. They're like CYCU, TRUG. You're killing me, Bovin. But the one that you gave me originally is really good. NVE. What do we got on here? 57s. We just wet the beak at 64. Good strength on NVE. It's up 296%. And here comes 62 again. Now I'm posted at 65, excuse me. Just have to double check that. 65er there. There's 63 again. 62.75, excuse me. So we didn't quite make it through 63 there. I misspoke. Okay, so keep your eye out on this one. By the way, the quantum names are pulling back into the 20. That means the actual quantum names are rising. I'm talking about RGTZ. I'm not talking about IONZ. They're both pulling in red candles now into the 20 moving average. This might be the buy spot. Keep your eye out on those. In fact, I'm going to get in a little bit here on those because, well, it just might be warranted. IONZ. There we go. That's not on the New York, dumbass. Ooh. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, we're punching in here, Joey. All right. We're going to get in a little bit over here on my friend IONZ, Z, whatever. Let's picking up on, what did we get there? We got 52s. Okay, good, good, good. All right, let's post some orders. Oh, that's not the one I want right there. 55, and then we'll post at 59. What's my move here on this one? Pardon me, we're gonna give it to a little bit below the 20, which means I can give it to the mid-40s. Okay, so we'll go ahead and wait there, and we'll do just like that, okay? So we're good to go on that. How's my NVE trade? Okay, dropping back, but we took off a lot there for profit. So let's see now if it comes in and fills me at one of my DC areas. I'm still waiting at 54s. So we're packing the patience there. How about OLTK? Where are we on OLTK? Joseph Options, we're at 60s. It's showing me 59s. So trying to work its way back up. Keeping an eye on all of these right now. Let's see how they do. We're going to the big desk.
It's crypto update time, and I want to talk about a crypto ETF. We don't discuss that much. We talk a lot about IBIT or IBIT, but you know what we don't talk about too much is GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust ETF. Now, you might be like, Adara, where are you going with this? I'll tell you. Grayscale, which of course operates the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust ETF, reportedly, according to Street Insider, they actually filed for an IPO. They want to go public on the NYSE under the ticker GRAY or Gray. So apparently they're going to be issuing two classes of shares. Their parent company, which is called Digital Currency Group, is going to retain control of ownership control through ownership of both share classes. But of course, Grayscale will also stand on its own here as a public company. So this arrangement makes Grayscale a controlled company, even through the IPO. Also, it's worth noting too, apparently shares are going to be reserved for investors in the Bitcoin ETF and their Ethereum ETF. So interesting look here. As I get more details, I'll let you know. But yeah, GBTC is person who or the group that runs it going to go public. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin BTC, which is kind of a perilous level here on the daily chart. This downtrend has certainly continued, these lower highs and lower lows, but we're coming into some support. Let's see how that 99 level holds on Bitcoin as we send you back to Joe and Sharif.
Ooh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, Adair, I think at the end of the day, it's just due to the fact that these guys botched it. They're charging too much management fees. It was out before IBIT, and then sure enough, as soon as Bitcoin IBIT came out, they're like, you know what, let's get over there. Let's get over to this one, and we'll rotate into it because there's very little management fees. That's where they dropped the ball, and I'm pretty sure they fired the individual who launched that GBTC ETF. Anyways, aside from that, guys, boom, John Von Sawyers. Why doesn't my chart look good, my friend? Look, we're short here, boom, 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 and we were long earlier in the day, and then we have JD as well too. So we're going to continuously sit in some of these trades. We're going to be talking a lot about some of the ADRs throughout the session and what potential bottoms we're going to try to find. But NVVE is not looking too bad as it's starting to form a consolidation around 58 pennies. Sharif caught my eye on that one, so we'll continuously look at that. Let's head back over to our volume scanner, not small cap, our actual volume prints, to see if we can find anything that we like. Gorb, nice work on Amazon. That's looking pretty good so far, brother, as it's bouncing off of those lows. Just hopefully that volume doesn't continuously stair-step down. Now, as for IREN, sorry if I don't know if you guys can see this, we'll just click on that there so you can see it a little bit better. But as for top volume, TSLA obviously leading the way once again. It's usually top of its class. SQ, surprisingly, straight to the top side. Some nice indecision prints there. So the inverse is most definitely coming into play. NVDA, there's SOX L. SoFi, what have you been up to? Taking it on the chin there. Ooh, that's not too good. It's not bad actually at all, Sharif. You're only down 10% off of those highs. We like SoFi 110%. Now, as for Circle, It's the exact same thing we were talking about the other day, guys. Once these support levels start to give way, I mean, you can only test it so many times before you actually do break through it, and that's just where I'm going to stand, and that's my opinion on that. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. Once this floor is gone, it's going to be hectic, and I have a feeling we're just prolonging the breakdown, to be honest with you. So just trapping a bunch of individuals, people continuously buying it. I've seen that Andrew Tate bought like, I think 5 Bitcoin or something like that for $5 million.
He's got thousands, doesn't he?
No, he has like, I don't know how many he has.
He says he has thousands.
Yeah, I don't know how many he has, but he just recently purchased 5 of them.
Okay.
At 100,000. Okay. So there you go. That's 5 million, or no, 500,000, or 50 of them. Sorry, 50 of them. 50 he bought them. Yeah, he bought 50 more. So shout out to.
People hate him. So
I don't care, man. I like the brothers, man. Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, obviously the way he delivers his message is obviously like, all right, bro, chill out a little bit. But you got to understand.
I think he's doing it for effect.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think he's just trying to get men to, just, you know what I mean, start fighting and work out and anything. But anyways, aside from that, all that political gibberish, let's take a look at some of the other names in which we are going to be trading today. So we are getting that curl over on NVDA in the overall market. If we do retest this support level one more time and then we bounce over, I think there might be an additional short in the TQs.
Joey, this pleases me very much, man. It warms the heart over here. SKM613. Sharif, I've been sending my 16-year-old son to school with your morning note for weeks. He became the first grade 11 to lead the finance club at lunch. God bless, brother. Absolutely God bless. Thank you very much for that nice comment, and I hope your son prints up multiple storms. I wish I had some guidance when I was that age to get into the market. I was kind of interested in it, but nobody in my family really understood anything about the market or was involved much in the market at all. My old man's a retailer, and that's kind of his shtick there. All right, I want to show you guys where to get the morning note. Just go to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV. Super simple. You go under posts right there, and if you're a premium member, it'll say members only right there. You hit the read more. There she is right at the bottom of the screen. You click that bad boy, and there it comes. You get the support levels, support and resistance, 3 with explanations, 3 with explanations. You get the entire story and the trader takeaway. That's the thing, right? This is what I really like about it, because not all of us are intraday traders. Not all of us are swing traders, and not all of us are investors. Some of us are all 3. And if that is the case, there's something for you there in the trader takeaway. There's an intraday, a swing, and a long-term assessment. So make sure you're catching that every day. And I do appreciate the nice comment from you there, SKM613. NVVE's losing it, which is okay, because we only had a little bit left. Took out a little bit over here. We'll still keep an eye out on that one. That one flushed pretty aggressively. IONZ, we continue to take prints on this one off the $0.50, trying to work its way back above that 10 EMA on the 5. So we'll post a little one there. And the last but not least, the one that I've been holding on to for a while, I'm going to be more patient with this one because I've seen how this one trades. It makes newer highs, does very little for a long time, and then there's an aggressive price spike. So I'm keeping my eye here on OLTK for another move. What are you looking at, Joseph?
All right, my friend. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad of a system there, 2NY. He said he's neither of those 3. He just places and prays. I mean,
I don't want to laugh.
Yeah, I know, it made me laugh. But anyways, no, I did not Sharif Slip. I wouldn't spend $1 on any of that, whatever those guys are trying to sell you or anything like that. I don't know. You know those guys who are like the mentorship things?
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I wouldn't buy that with someone else's money, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, because now they're all this, but I mean, if they were rich before, then congratulations. But not, chances are they're getting rich off of your dime. But no, in all seriousness, there it is, guys. Market heading right back towards the lows. You can see the SPY right there, and the TQs and the SPY. We got NVDA coming back in as well too. So a little bit of a choppy mess. And I think in today's case, it's going to take some time for these boats to turn around if they are going to. Man, NVVE tanked, off of that high consolidation to 20 cents.
Got into VWAP. I bought it at VWAP, Joey. I'm going to give it to current bar low. So I got in at 48.5. I'm going to give it to 44. That's current bar low, but it's at VWAP. That's the only reason I'm looking at it right here, Joey.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
I just want to make my explanation as to why I got back into that.
Okay, you're back in at this dip buy right here?
At the VWAP,
Okay, cool. All right, so so that's a pretty good look. So we're still sitting in these same trades. Maybe we get that additional leg lower now. So you can see that these breaths and the volume is just absolutely falling off a complete cliff right there, just skydiving, bang. And then when the sellers do step in, it's more aggressive. So that's a little bit of a positive sign in our favor. Still sitting in this IBIT. Every pop is just getting faded to black there. So you just want to go with the flow. Shout out to short calls. I'm going to be saying that quite often. But there it is. New low of the day SPY, new low of the day TQs. If there's anything that you guys want to take a look at, just put it in the chat and then we will do so. GLTO, someone's saying GLTO. Let's see what that one is up to. Oh, okay, so not too bad of a look, but you can see that we're running into liquidity issues here, guys. That's a big time thing, because just in case, you don't want to be having a hefty spread on a $26 name, because that's going to be the case when you're running into this. So 5 minute running into issues, 1 minute is just going to be complete algo type price action. Volume does step in there, but you can see you have intraday gap ups, and I personally don't like that there, Sharif.
All right, guys, we're taking a couple of prints here off that VWAP dip on NVE, now showing me almost 50 pennies. There's a seller here in the high 49s. There's 3/4, not quite yet into 50 pennies. Looks like there it is, right into 50. Can we get the continuation? The answer is no. Okay, so let's go ahead and post here because it looks like it's getting a little crazy. So we're going to go ahead and post some shareage over here, Joseph Options. Okay. If we can get a nice price spike up into some of these levels, that would just be aces. We're continuing to take some prints here on IONZ as it finds its support off the 20 exponential moving average and trying to work its way back into highs. So this is an inverse leveraged ETF for IONQ. So the ticker is IONZ, and thankfully it's not trading on the MX as many ETFs do typically trade. It is trading on the Nasdaq. So if it does halt, which I don't expect it to be honest, we will be able to see the theoretical auction price. OLTK still hanging out, man. At this level, I haven't really taken any prints. I'm about 4 or 5 pennies out of the money on this one. It got into 60, found some resistance. I'm still trying to pack my patience over here on this one. I also want to mention another one that I didn't say anything about, and I'm not really sure why. TSDD. This is clean as hell over here. Look at the cleanliness on that uptrend. Nary a print below the 10 EMA. It is an inverse ETF as well. And this is a Tesla inverse ETF. So that means, oh no, the Cybertruck's getting crapped on.
Oh yeah.
It's down 6 1/5. It is on the way down to 400. No wonder TSDD is up bigly, 10.99 high, essentially 11 bucks on the day. So be on the lookout there for this one, as this one could, you could definitely get some more, especially if Tesla starts working its way into $400. That dyslexia flaring up. OTL. Oh, trust me, bro. I typed it wrong. So you're absolutely right, Grant. I do that a lot. OTLK, OLTK. You're absolutely right. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. I do that all the time. I don't know why.
I'm hella dyslexic, man.
I don't know if I am, but I do that sometimes. Not on everyone, but all of them. But I mean, I do sometimes, Jeff. Right. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on that. Thanks for mentioning that. Thanks for mentioning that, Grant, because I think I may have misled some people there with respect to the ticker. Roland Joe, Sharif, do you think the 10 EMA on the 5-minute chart is the same as the 50 EMA on the one? There are overlaps. No, you're right. So I had this conversation with Obi in the past. I don't remember exactly which examples they are. I'll be able to double check it. But like the 10 EMA is like, I think the 10 EMA on the 15, maybe the 20 on the 5, something like that. But you're absolutely right. There is an overlap between them. I don't remember exactly what they are at the moment. You're right. Just do trial and error, right? Like throw in the moving averages and switch off or switch on multiple time frames and then just see where they overlap. Because I did do this experiment before with OB. I just don't happen to remember what they are at the moment. So I do apologize. But thank you for mentioning that. Mercaris, Sharif, you need to have a look at CMND. Say less, my friend. We're going to do it right now.
You were looking at that. We were looking at that one yesterday.
We were, eh?
Yeah.
Command? CMND? Oh. Okay, well, this one is not for me, Joey. Oh. And the reason I say that is because it's below the volume-weighted average price substantially. It's much closer to the lows than it is to the highs. It also has a downtrend if you're looking at generally these areas are making lower highs. So that's not for me. It would also have to get above 47.5 pennies for me to trade it. So let me know how that ends up going. Thank you for pointing that one out. Let's have a look, though, at this other one here, NVE. It's still holding up, Joey. It's not making any lower lows, but it's also not rocketing up either. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one. I've already put in my stop. Anything below 44 pennies gets me out of the trade. So that's what I'm going to do with NVE.
All right, good stuff, brother. I'm going to pull something up for the both of us here momentarily. I want to see what the over is on the Jamie Benn. Are in the Connor Ben.
Yeah, we need to find out.
I'm taking the over. I'm hammering the over.
On Ben?
Yeah, they
this
go
guy,
to a decision. No. I'm going to take the to decision.
Okay.
To go the full rounds.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. 100% I gotta see that. I don't think there's going to be a knockout.
Yeah, I got to see what that line is, man.
Me and your boy Joey Options, we're going out Saturday night. We're going to watch the fight, and there's UFC as well.
And there's UFC, man. Good, double header title fight there.
There you go.
In the UFC. I'm looking forward to that one. I was talking to you guys earlier this morning about it. All right, man, let's take a look at men and women. Let's take a look at the top performing sectors of the day. We have the energy sector leading the way, guys. So we're getting a little bit defensive here, 0.87%. The healthcare, we're up about 0.75%. Consumer staples, a fifth roughly. And then the bottom three, we have the communication service, consumer discretionary, and the technology sector down 2.14%. So, I mean, guys, listen, in the week, it's the life. You got to live and die by the sword, right? So the Q is usually the best performer, but it's going to get hit the hardest. So there it is. You're down 2% on the week. IWM down 2.25%. And then you have the SPY down about 0.4% there. But the Dow Jones holding up relatively well, guys, up 1.13%. So not too bad of a look. As for the month, IWM, boom, that's negative on it. So that's not too fun whatsoever. In the past 3 months, we're still positive with the Dow leading the way and the Nasdaq in second place. Now, as for the earnings reports, guys, go check out Adara. She's going to be posting those for sure at TraderTV Research. Thursday after the bell, we got Red Cat. That's going to be our cat right there. Applied Materials, AMAT right there, and NU Holdings. Not too bad of a look, guys. So keep your eyes out for that one. And make sure you join the folks in them after the bell because they will be bringing you those reports. Crazy how Eubank Ben fights will be competing for fight of the year. Yeah, I mean, the first one was really good, right? We're not going to deny that whatsoever. I've never been on this Kalshi website, Sharif. Have you ever been on
Kalshi? Yeah, I kept my eye on it during the election last year.
Yeah.
Because, well, the prediction markets were quite accurate.
Yeah.
While the polling, American political polling seems to be completely off, whereas Canadian political polling seems to be right on the money.
Okay.
And I'm not making any accusations of, wrongdoing or anything, but that just seems to be my observation. So I didn't want to follow the polling last year, so I kept my eye on the prediction markets, and they were pretty much accurate, Joey.
I mean, they don't have any combat sports on here, which I think is
okay. So we're gonna get to that in the news because that's a very good point. Neil wanted me to make a clear explanation of
because now they're going to be.
So we'll get to that on the news, but that is a very good thing you mentioned that because it's going to be something we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely. They got chess here though. Ooh, if you really want to get super DJ, I'll tell you one thing before we hop back into these markets. My boys were in such a deep hole, man. These guys were betting on esports, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? But it's fun at sometimes. But no, in all seriousness, guys, JD.com doesn't look like it wants to break down further right now. So we're breaking through some of these resistance zones. You do get a new low of the day established, or not quite, and then you get a bounce. So we might have to hop out of that one if we continue to grind higher. Once again, I mentioned that I do like some movement to the downside. It might just take significantly longer than what we're anticipating, but there it goes, Bitcoin heading towards the low of the day as well, too.
All right, Neder and Yannick both calling out UGRO. Sub $1 stock seems to be like the thing today, because there's not too much above $1, but this one looks good, okay? 40 penny support. Look, it just started taking off. The volume candles just started coming in, I want to say 1135. We did on the 1135 candle, we had about how many shares? 2 million. And then the 1140 candle, 6 million or thereabouts. 1145, which is the candle we just were in right now. We've got about 5.4 million candles on this.
Wow.
5.4 million candles. Calm down, Sharif. 5.4 million shares. 50 penny high, and the 10 EMA is at 40. We're kind of in between right now. I think we're at 45 pennies or so. So this one looks good. Let's put it on the side chart over here. There we go. What's my move on this one? Well, I'd like to work into around 40 pennies, but it may not give me that opportunity. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get in a little bit right now so we can work our way into it. And then I'll look to add into that 40 penny area. So let's see if we can get some around here. But look at it rocket up already, man. We're going to have to wet the beak. There it goes again. All right, good call out, Nader. Good call out, Yannick, man, on both your parts there, because Nader was like calling it out a lot. And I have to look at the chat, obviously. So sorry, Nader, I didn't see it right away, but I did see you call it. I told you, good call, brother. So now we're posting at 49er as well. Let's see if we can get that continuation. 52% and change. We're still with our original position. So we don't have too many shares. We didn't get that DCA into 42. So let's see what kind of continuation we have here. Now, what's the deal? We have lower highs on the successive 5-minute candles. So this one could end up dropping a little bit more aggressively. Now that we know the sellers are also getting more aggressive as to where they're either, getting short, or the longs are taking profits at lower levels. Why do I say that? Because that 1135 candle, that's a 50 penny high. Then the 1145 candle is 49.5 pennies high. So we are certainly putting in lower highs, Whether or not we continue to do that, that's a different story. So keeping my eye here, we've got 44s on, it's showing me 48s. I'm looking for the break of 50. Let's see what this one ends up doing. IONZ as well, we have to take a print over here because it's not crossing my level, so we'll wet the beak there, and then we'll move this one up into 69. This one continues to stair step up. I'm talking about IONZ, which is an inverse leveraged ETF for IONQ, a quantum name, of course. 76 pennies a high on this one. It's up 19 1/3. So keeping an eye on those ones, Joey. What are you keeping an eye on over there, brother?
Same names there, guys. We got 169 asking us about, do I think that SPY is going to close the gap from Friday? I do think we have a good chance of this. I mean, this was a pretty good signal to grab long off of, but as soon as you fail to break and then you're starting to come in, I'm not saying that it's going to necessarily be the case today, but at some point we will, just in my opinion, right? I just think this market is overextended and it's taking a while to curl over. We're starting to form this range, and I think it's going to be a little bit longer than what we're anticipating. Wait until next earnings season or heading into it, even though we're just at the tail end of it. That's what I'm just thinking right now. I just feel that we're frothy, we chop around a little bit, we grab some more liquidity, and then sure enough, just due to the capex and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to climb a little bit higher. That's just the boat that I'm sitting in. If we look at names like the likes of Meta, yeah, it sucks right now. But how many times have we been through this? It's like, okay, you have one of these hyperscaler names, one of these fantastic Meg 7 companies, you're down 23.5%. But look what happens after all these aggressive dips. It just eventually gets bought back up, and I'm not going to change the narrative. Does that mean I'm going short on Meta? Absolutely not. It's the complete polar opposite. Just because you're going through a little bit of a rough stint, that's how it is, man. Life is like that. Everything isn't all roses all the time. You go through these rough patches, and then sure enough, after that, I like Mark Zuckerberg and company. It's going to climb a little bit higher and head up into 800, and then chances are, I think I'm going to make this right now. I'm going to call it. I'm going to make the call. By the end of 26, I wouldn't be surprised if we see, by the end of 26, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Meta around $900. Maybe not. We'll be patient. But then at that point, I think we get a split, Sheree.
All right. UGRO just dropped into 40 pennies is getting bought up. So we got the fill at 42. Anything below 38, we're going to have to stop out, okay? So we're going to put that in now. It looks like it might stop out over here, guys. So be careful with this one, UGRO. Yeah, we're good. We throw in the stop there. Let's see if it holds up at the 10 EMA on the 5 or what its situation is going to be. Back into 40 when we go. It's getting bought up, but not aggressively. Not aggressively. No aggressive buys. The buyers are not stepping in the same way that we've seen in the past. Now showing 43s. I think we got 42.5 on. So that's not really the move. We're looking for continuation above 43. 43 is acting as a bit of a resistance level, and there we go. We get stopped out as the bottom just dropped off. So, yep, we'll go negative on the day on that one, and we'll look to do a little bit better on the next trade. So UGRO on Uncle Sheriff shit list now. It's going to be banned from trading. I'm kidding, of course, exaggerating for effect. So what else we got, man? I'm still holding my OLTK position. I still like the way that this one is holding up at the lows, but it's not rocketing up either. So I still have my stop below 50 pennies. We'll see how this one does. How's my IONZ trade doing? Where is that doing over here? Still, you know, we went the beak there in the mid 60s, but that 69 print, that's didn't come in. So we're still waiting on that one. Let me just check the scanner, see if there's anything coming up on this bad boy here. Nothing doing quite yet, ladies and gentlemen. Just looking, allowing me a minute over here. A lot of light volume today on a lot of these small caps, eh? Like I'm seeing very few with over 5 million shares. Most of them are single digit millions or even sub 1 million, believe it or not. Yeah, just looking through the scanners, guys. Allow me a second here just to keep an eye on things. TSDD looks the best, man. I don't know why I'm not punching into that. It looks fantastic. 13% Greensville. It's at the day high, meaning that Tesla's at the day low. Goodness gracious. Joey, did you see TSDD? Why don't you get into this one? You're always trading TSLL. Look at this TSDD.
What's this bad boy over here?
Yeah, it's an inverse as well.
Oh, it's the short one there. Oh, there's TSL and there's TS something that I used to trade as well.
This one is 200%. Is TSLL leveraged or no?
Yeah.
Okay,
TSL leveraged for sure. 2x as well. So 200% inverse right there.
Yeah, so it's the same shit.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
ENGS says Bovin. Allow me a second to have a look at ENGS for the OG Bovin.
Why?
What happened, Joey?
No, Donji 0.1 MBTC.
Oh.
Says 2x ETF should be against the law.
Why, brother?
Yeah, that's what
Why do you feel that way?
Why do you feel that way?
Explain. Like you and I, you've heard Joseph and I complain about leveraged crypto products, but we're talking about 20 and like 100. I don't really know why you would want to ban the leveraged products, but I mean,
to each their own, Sharif. I guess
Joey.
at the end of the day, maybe someone got smoked. Yeah, brother.
ENGS, guys, good call out by the OG Bovin, but I'm going to be suspicious of these ones from here on in because as we've seen, the market is not perfect for these small cap gappers today. So this one's up 41%. It just top ticked into 2. It has a good steady move about it, but the volume just started picking up, meaning that more eyes are on it now as it breaks into highs. 40%. The volume just started coming in at 11:45. That candle had about only 233,000 shares. This current candle, about 161,000. And look at it drop from $2 down below 180 now. Yeah, so it's going to be tough with these small cap gappers today, guys. That's what it feels like for sure. ENGS, we're going to keep an eye on that one, Bovin. Thank you for calling it out. Chuck of all trades says SOXS. Why? That's another leverage ETF. Is that the SOX S? That's the what's it called? The bearish semis. Yeah, semis absolutely getting decimated today. There is no green name on my semis watch list. There is none whatsoever, Joey. So the inverse leveraged, this is an inverse, right? Let me just double check that. Yeah, it's 300% of the inverse. So this is a triple leveraged semiconductor ETF. Be on the lookout for that. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Thank you for pointing that one out. IONZ continues to work its way back. I'm going to add more into this position because this is really the only thing that's working at the moment. So we're going to add more into IONZ. It just added there at 65. So we'll see if we can get up into 69 now. And that's all I've got, Joe.
All right, cool. We're just talking with our guy, Adam DeLuce there. So there it is, guys. We get a new low of the day on Bitcoin. We take a little bit more out. It's really, really bad. The poor long-term account is just screaming, help me, Joe, help me. But I can't do anything. I can't do anything. But in all seriousness, there goes a new low of the day for the likes of Bitcoin. We're heading into it on our NVDA, guys. We got JD still holding up relatively strong. I don't know who JD thinks it is, kind of going oppo the overall market. And there's another low on Bitcoin, man. Oh my days!
What is it at?
It's probably 100. It's definitely south of 100,000 right now. Yeah, it's probably close.
No, bro, it's one. Well, yeah, well, it's close, Joey. That 100,524.
$500 on.
It's only down 1%, but we always know it's a little different depending on when your
exactly.
There, yeah.
Do you have a stop loss on my Bitcoin position? No, on my long term, it's just free roll, man.
No.
I mean, I've already considering that we're 25% off of the top. I'm already down like 10, 13K from the unrealized gains, which I had from before. But I've been buying this thing since the IPO. So that sucks. That's why I just try not to look at it.
Same.
Yeah. So I mean, we're like 5 digits there. So that sucks. Like $13,000 gone in a span of some quick time. But it is what it is, guys. But what else? Okay. So as for my contracts, eventually I probably will. If we don't get a bounce in the next couple of months, I'll just continuously write these covered calls. We'll go over and take a look at the option chain because we haven't done that today. And essentially just see what I'm looking at here. I want to see what the value of those contracts are going to be worth. So essentially what I got going on is my long term, my long contracts expire on this date right here, May 15th, 2026. So plenty of time, which allows me to manipulate multiple things. 22 days from now, I wrote the 65 for $72. Those are now worth $40. So once again, just raking in a little bit of passive income from writing calls. Adara, what do you got from us?
What I have here is a pretty weak market. We've right now holding decently at that 610 level, but lots of red here on this Nasdaq, the QQQs. And this could just be a pullback because we actually were up over the course of the shutdown. Here's a look at how the market performed over the past now 6 U.S. government shutdowns. This most recent one was the longest in U.S. government history, roughly 3% gain. And it's interesting. So the 2 longest shutdowns in government history, both of which happened during the 10 years of President Donald Trump, were actually the 2 best for the market. So interesting stuff here. It looks like the longer the shutdown is, maybe the better the market performs. This photo as well is Trump's official photo for his second term. Before anyone gets upset about that, I chose everybody's official photos for whatever term they were in. We have lots of earnings on watch still. Disney reported before the bell. The stock got hit pretty hard today. CISCO also reporting earnings. So lots of day one earnings plays on watch. But tomorrow, or tonight, I guess tonight, and then for day one tomorrow, we're going to get names like AMAT Applied Materials and TMC. We're also going to be getting SPCE. So you can check out those earnings with myself and Sean Katina on that market recap at 4 p.m. Eastern. Now, Neil's going to have an awesome lesson for us. Before we get to said awesome lesson, we're going to take a moment to thank our awesome friends at Orogenics because, guys, each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Orogenics, or OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug design for rapid brain access because with that concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Orogenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. And now, take a moment to thank Neil and get ready for his lesson of the day. Neil, give the people that lesson.
Thank you, Adara. I mean, the lesson of the day could have easily just been, well, if Adara's wearing red, just go short, or something as simple as that. But I think I mentioned this the other day, kind of in passing, is something I was looking at a little bit more, and today it came in really, really handy. And that was, if you find yourself trying to be patient and then still not getting the right timing on the trade, there's one little trick that can help. Look at a higher time frame. So if I find myself like over and over again, and it wasn't like it's a million times today, but like a little example, a good example here would be Open Door. Not that it ever really held that trend line, but I'm in early there. I could have waited for some confirmation. And yeah, I wanted to stay on trend, but even now when I'm looking for another long in this stock, just hop on over to a 15-minute chart. And when I look at a 15 higher time frame chart, not much of a reason to be long there. Can't find it, but you're starting to see a little something. Like you could make arguments for maybe getting long in here, but on the 15, if we can break away and close over 890, then there's something. Then I got a bit of a round bottom and a bit of a breakout. And it's that higher time frame. And look, it doesn't have to be what I'm showing you, which is going from a 3-minute to a 15-minute. You could be jumping from a 1-minute to a 5 or whatever it might be. You could like a 60-minute chart, a 30-minute chart. It just really depends on the duration of your trade and what you normally work off of. And especially when you have a market like this where we're kind of gravitating towards 1.5% to 2% in the Nasdaq is the norm. And if that's the case, then you want to give things a little bit more breath, be more certain of a trend break because you're not getting as choppy action when we have 0.5% moves in the day. That's a different market. And when you find yourself in this, you do need to be just that little bit more patient. And what that sometimes looks like, and I'll give you, if the example here was, okay, shift to the 15-minute, and then all of a sudden, look what Apple showed me on a 15-minute chart. There's my reversal candle. I know I want the long off that prior low, and it also gave me reason to, gave me reason to scalp there. It gave me reason to scalp in here in a prior support into this opening range high. So sometimes that higher time frame, you go over to it and things look a little bit more clear. Now, it's not some obvious guarantee that it's always going to be right or it's always going to be clean. I'll give you another example, like Alibaba here. I did not actually enter into this higher time frame. I think Alibaba, I consider getting away with one, right? Like I got it, I bought it into the level that I liked, and it happened to work. But on the 15-minute, the higher time frame, does it really look like that much of a curl? I don't think so. It is setting up one right now. Like if I do this, I wasn't in love with it. And granted, I probably could be in this. But this is the more clean idea. And the other thing to consider is, you know, this might have been a winning trade, but if I take a step back and really assess the situation and what the signals were telling me on that higher time frame and what the market was doing, I don't really think it was a particularly good trade, even though it was a winning trade, because I just stepped into it at the first available bounce technically without any real confirmation, and then just happened to get the one green candle setting up for me on next. You know, there's a little bit of luck to that, and sure, you find the right level, it's going to work out. But I would much rather miss this winner and maybe be involved in trades like this or what I showed you in Apple, where it does set up on that higher time frame. And this kind of works for swing traders as well. Like if you find yourself in a correction market, or when we have the COVID drop or the 2021 drop, sometimes you then have to move from being a daily, weekly chart person to a weekly, monthly chart person, and maybe even longer. And that's what volatility can do to you. It doesn't mean you abandon your strategies, your setups, but it might mean you adjust them. And if you have to take fewer trades to set them up on a higher time frame and just improve your win rate during volatility, then so be it. Because, as we said, it seems like 2% is nothing on the Nasdaq these days. And that means you've got to adjust your trading to accommodate it. So I hope that helps. I know that for myself, it's like I've been battling between that this week. I find that all of my best trades this week have set up on the 15-minute, yet I still have a bunch of them that are on 3-minute setups, especially early on in the day, because I'm so accustomed to that. So, you know, making that adjustment is part of the game. And you know what? If you don't make any trades in the first 15 minutes, so be it. It's not like they've been all that great anyways, unless you happen to catch that initial direction right away. So good luck in the rest of your day trading. Hopefully this market will get some bounce. Maybe Apple leads the way. Apple's back to green again, so maybe Apple can lead the way.
Shout out to Neil. Thank you very much for that. And I want to shout out Bovin, man, and others in the chat as well, calling out CYCU. It made a big move. But Bovin, you know, like it's obviously not your fault, but you know, these small cap gappers just don't have the continuation bug in them today. You know, they make moves and then they retrace. Yet another topping tail candle on another small cap gapper. So let's see how this cookie ends up crumbling. I'm still involved in ENGS, looking for a move here into the area high. Let's wet the beak there, nothing doing. Have to pack the patience despite, why is there 2 pennies? What the hell, it's 4 pennies now on this name? Whatever, let's give it a try. See if it continues to go. ENGS, the one I'm talking about. There we go. We get the fill. Looks like it's holding up off VWAP momentarily. Let's see if it pops up. I've already put my orders, but this is the one that Bovin is talking about, and others, by the way. CYCU. And he brings up a good point, Bovin. He's like, look, the volume is missing, and absolutely right. Right there, guys. You'll always be able to see the volume on my time and sale, or sorry, my level 2, 889,000. Right now, so it's still sub 1 million, but it is getting a price spike nonetheless. So let's put some respect on this one's name. It is a bit spready, 2-penny spread at the moment. Let me give you the levels. Obviously, $4 is a psychological area of resistance. We're below it right now. So the 10 EMA is at 375. Volume weighted average price is at 360. We're going to give this one the old college try at 380. Okay, just front running the 10 EMA by 5 shekels. So I'm going to give this one a look. I'm already going to try to get into it right now. I'm not going to give it that much room because I need to be aware of the environment in which I'm trading. It is not the day for the longs on the small cap gappers. It's not me making that up. It is just the price action. So here it is, 80. We're waiting at 80. We got the fill. Anything below 70, we're out. Simple as that. I won't DCA into an oblivion on this one. So let's go ahead and throw that there. I've already put it in there. So we won't risk that much on this day. So there we go. Throw in some orders. If it gets a price spike up, fantastic. Doesn't. All right. So that's a look there. How we doing on the IONZ trade that we added into? Good, quite good. This one continues to trend up. Look, these inverse quantum ETFs they're doing it live today. So is the inverse Tesla ETFs. They're doing it live as well. Ooh. There goes IONZ into 70 again. We're gonna wet the beak there. Remember the ad. Hey, beak wet. Let's go. There we go. Now we got the beak wet.
There you go.
Joey wasn't listening. I mean, how many keys do I have to hit, right?
Smack it, man.
Smack it. There goes Assassino. You just get Assassino to talk to it, bro. He'll be like, no.
Hell no.
I ain't messing with that guy.
I don't know what's going on with Proline here, Sri. What kind of BS is this? Yeah. Well, you're telling me you got darts up here and then you
tell
don't
the
have
people what Proline is. Not everybody follows.
They don't have Proline?
Yeah, tell the people.
So, yeah, Proline is just like kind of like our convenience store gambling here in Ontario. I don't know if it's Canada.
Love this guy, bro.
Yeah, but I was just looking for what that over is paying, man. To go to the decision.
Why don't you go to like Bet365 or FanDuel or DraftKings? They're on that account, man.
But I don't have an account. What you can do is you can create a slip here and then go to the convenience store, just scan it, right? And then go there. So if I'm looking for more ways to lose money on the weekend, it's just start betting some of these fights. But no, yeah, it's the government-owned. Yeah, it is. It is the government-owned one.
Yeah.
It is the government-owned one.
They control almost all the gambling.
In
except,
Ontario.
Of course, for the private companies like the DraftKings
and for the longest time, you could only bet parlays, but then they allowed you a couple years ago to start betting single-game bets. So yeah, I mean, Drew Cater, man, all your money on JDM, no problem. I'll gladly take you up on that bet. All my cash is definitely going up on Islam. But no, in all seriousness, guys, there goes Bitcoin putting in a new low of the day. I mean, we're just riding this trend to the downside. If it's not a long, it's a short, right? No, obviously being extremely sarcastic on that one. If only we're that easy. I'm all out of JD. It did wick me out at the highs. That's fine. I just didn't want to get squeezed out any more than what I potentially did.
Why are you such a damper on everybody's scene, Big Spile?
Oh, what do you say now?
Look, LJS, just keep buying BTC. You will lose plenty. 80K before 120K for sure.
I'm not even going to take that bet because I agree with that. But I'm like, again. But hey, at the end of the day, brother, you don't gotta be like that, man.
Man.
Come on, man.
What's going on, Big Spot?
You know you got a lot of Bitcoin lads up in here.
No, but he's more bearish-minded. We know that.
He is bearish.
So,
short it. Okay, Big Smile, right? Short it, brother. Just please do me a favor.
Smile. We want proof of the short.
Send the Snapchat to him. All the individuals who are like, hey, Bitcoin's going to zero. Do me a favor. Short it. DM me on X. Show me your short position. Do everything. And then if that happens, then congratulations. You won, but at the end of the day, I don't think you'll do it. So don't
come on, Big Spile. He's challenging you on challenge.
Boom, short it, man.
As the Quebecois like to say.
But in all seriousness, guys, we're looking for these bottoms here today. Are we going to find one here on Tesla? It's just continuous bleeding to the downside. It may take some time for things to curl over. I mean, this is waterfall-esque, right? So it's just boom, falling $24 in the intraday session. And if we take a look at the daily, that's not good, right? I was thinking that, hey, at least one of us has to be a voice of reason.
Well, look, I respect your opinion, brother. We're not trying to crap on your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, whatever it may be. It's just to be nice, Big Spile, every now and again. You change things up.
He said he was nice one day.
He was nice one day? That's all we get, Joey.
And then he was feeling better, so he's like, I can't be nice 2 days in a row. So he was under the weather. So now I could just picture Big Smile sitting in his bed. Oh, wifey, help me, please. I don't feel good. I want to text Joe. And I want to say that I want to be nice to Sharif and Joe and all these things. No.
You see what he wrote there?
What'd he say?
Can I read that?
Big Smile. Hey, listen. Hey, there it is. You can read that. Brother, listen.
Ain't nobody with a 4-inch inseam gonna bully me into shorting. Oh no. Ram, is a 4-inch inseam acceptable or unacceptable? She not answering.
She's not answering. It's acceptable.
It's all over
Boom,
there,
it's acceptable.
It's all
For
over.
sure, brother. Hey, man, you can catch me running in those. You see me knocking dudes out.
Oh,
I think I was I'm pretty sure I was wearing the 4 seams when Buddy caught hands.
Did he?
So,
Yeah. We need to show that video again. We need to show that video again. I still have it.
People forget, Sharif, and we thought people don't forget. Some people tend to forget sometimes, and we got to remind them when they do. But no, in all seriousness, we might fill this gap here on Tesla, the 396.
I love this, bro.
Right?
It's so funny, bro. So funny.
390. I was gonna show you some of my backyard scraps as well,
Bro,
too.
bring those.
I have them on my phone right now.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But gloves.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Little
Good,
back.
good.
This is just to get it at any time.
I love
man.
it.
Yeah.
Anybody's can get it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
No,
funny.
in all seriousness, watch out for this gap down to be filled down to 396. I think Tesla's going to be a good dip buy. Eventually, this peak will break. So we have multiple resistance touches right there, all the way up in 470. We're now $70 off of that specific zone. Let's take a look from a percentage metric. You're down 15%. Not too good as some of these bigger names start to head into bearish territory.
All right. Here's the deal. CYCU still hanging out at 80s. I'm at 80s. I'm looking for a hold above the 10 EMA. So far, it's giving me the hold above the 10 EMA, but it is a prohibitive spread at times. I've seen it as wide as six pennies. I was about to say 6 inches.
Oh man,
Sorry,
that's crazy,
bro. It was like, because we're talking about inseam.
Man, you know?
ENGS, we're also taking some prints on this one. It's not rocketing up, but it's holding trend for now. So I am taking some on this. On ENGS, I got 69s. I've been wetting the beak at 71s and 72s. It's nothing to write home about. But it's this one, IONZ, that's trading real good. So initially we got in at the 50 penny mark. We added a 65, and we've been wetting the beak all the way up to, I believe I got 73s there. So not a bad look right now. Joseph, we need a Kimbo Slice versus LJS deep fake bare knuckles backyard fight. We may have that one for you, brother,
we
because
could set that up, man.
the deep fakes are getting like better and better and better. Dude.
Yeah, they're getting really, really
It's
good.
insane. Yeah. So big spell. You don't know. Maybe we come in. Say that again, Rembrandt. Deep fakes are getting real, said Joey. Yeah, well, that's
I don't
what
think
Rembrandt
I said that. Yeah, they're getting real,
look,
really tough to decipher what we got going on there.
Well, yeah, that's the look there. Okay, so let's keep going on over here, Joey. I'm still keeping my eye on OLTK. Don't think I forgot about this one, but I am pretty close to flattening out on OLTK. And let me make my argument. I got 60s on at the moment. It's at 55s. You know, I made the argument that this one makes a high, retraces, does nothing, but it didn't not do anything for this long. And if I look at the trend a little bit more on the 5, I'm not seeing much in the way of lower lows, but I am seeing lower highs, and it is concerning me. So I think I may stop out of this one. I may move up my stop, excuse me. Right now it's below 50 pennies. I may move it up a little bit higher. Okay, let's see what CYCU's doing. Okay, it's holding trend. This one is quite spready, but I'm waiting for a print. It's showing me 86s. I'm at 85s right now. Let's go ahead and wet the beak here on CYCU at this level. There we go. Nice price spike up. We're still waiting for that 85 print. There's 86 now. Good print there. Now waiting at 91s. Why don't I have more orders? This thing is insane. There it goes, Joey, into 95. We get the print there. Now we're going to wait north of 4. We're waiting at 403. Shut it to the highway. I'm going to keep my eye on that one. 395 was what it just showed on the ask side of the level 2. But the price action here is insane. Look at that. 92 on the bid, 70 on the ask. It does this at times. It's a 22 penny spread.
Boom, eat that.
Oh, this guy, bro, this guy. Why are those on Snapchat?
Yeah, I don't know. I just had them on there, man.
Oh, we gotta show these. No headgear or nothing.
Boom, eat that overhead. Come on,
this guy's violent, bro. This guy's violent. I like it. All right, man. Your boy Joey Options is showing me backyard fights from. How old were you there?
That was 6 years ago, man. So I was like 27.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not that long ago.
No.
Shout out to Vancouver Islander. I like wetting my beak. Yeah, so does this bird over here who's eating prints out of the garbage for whatever reason, right? Shout out to Fabian, who made that animation. Fabian. All right, so that's what we're doing, Joey. We're riding IONZ back into the high. And we're gonna pack our patience on ENGS. I think we might have something here with the higher lows. It's CYCU and OLTK that concern me, Joey. Yeah. Even though we got some nice prints on CYCU to de-risk and we're in the money on it, I am concerned just given the spread and the erratic nature of how this one's trading. Ram, I'm talking about the CYCU, bro. Why you got the camera on the dual shot? All right. She's not. Yeah.
Whoa. Oh.
Did you hear what she said, Neil?
What's your tone, boy?
Oh, well, you didn't hear what she said, thankfully. No, she didn't say anything that bad.
What the hell is even that?
I know, well, that's what it is there, Ram. So, Trader 604, how did that beak wet getting started? Where did it come from? From The Godfather, bro. Look, it was Michele Corleone, all right? Godfather 3, when the bosses came and he's buying Immobiliare, right? So he wants to get out of the underworld, and now he's gonna become a legitimate businessman by buying Immobiliare from the Vatican. But his partners, the other Dons, they want to stay in business with him. Like, we want to do business with you, Michael. We just want to wet the beak. And that's it. I took it and ran with it. And that's where it's from. So I hope that explains everything for everybody. MYNZ moving up, says the OG Bub. MYNZ, let's see what's going on there. Did you just hit the fail on me? I'll walk over there.
Oh.
I'll walk over there, bro. Yeah, exactly, Neil. Now she's giving you instructions. Yeah. All right, Neil.
While I like that's not incorrect about The Godfather, but the Wet the Beak was first in Godfather 2, Don Fanucci.
Yes.
That's the first time.
Accurate.
He's like, make sure you wet the beak.
That's actually accurate.
And then what I love about, it's probably one of the only good things about The Godfather 3 is, and they used it in Godfather 3 as like a callback when he was still, when you heard that term still being used. Because otherwise, Godfather 3,
it wouldn't have made sense.
Just needed to not happen.
Yeah.
It really needed not to happen.
And we know what Godfather 3 is like, Neil. We just tolerate Godfather 3. We tolerate it because it's part of a greater series, but of course.
I'm also sorry for saying maybe Apple could bring the market higher. Because Apple got to VWAP and then tanked at $1.50.
Oh,
my bad.
Yeah, it's all right. I appreciate the comments in the chat, guys. All right. I love you guys, man. Puts on Sharif. Shout out to Ben Affleck.
Oh, that's crazy. Who said brother. Puts on Sharif is
That's
crazy.
okay, bro. I don't care.
I'll write those puts on Sharif. So I'm essentially,
guy, bro.
So I'm essentially long.
Market maker options.
It's essentially
supposed to be market maker Mateo. You trying to take his job?
Oh, did I tell you that Mateo came out for a skate with the lads the other day? I wasn't playing, but he was playing with one of my buddies.
Is he good?
I don't know. I have to ask my friend how he said he was gassing out, though. I said, Mateo.
Gassing out?
Yeah, I said, Mateo, brother, you better work on the gas tank because we're here to play, brother.
Oh,
on that one.
That's my guy. A statement. All right, all right.
Oh, hold on, Tree. Let me cover something
Joey.
here. Yeah, I'm trying to edit this bloody candle here. It's not allowing me to, but there goes a new low of the day in Bitcoin. So we'll just piece a little bit more out here, guys. We're running out. I literally have about like 10% remaining of what I had of the full position, but we're just locking in new lows of the days. Once these wicks are gone, I'm gonna get Neil to show me how to avoid a lot of these dark pools. But there it is.
Tell him, Joey.
There it is on IBIT now, 56.90. What a absolute complete disaster after disaster. So shout out to City and Color and all this. And there goes NVDA curling over there, guys. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna post up in the middle of the zone to see if I can grab something in that neck of the woods, considering we're just consolidating. So I like my probability of doing that. And you can also see that the volume weighted average price really hugging price here, all right? So the price action. So we're gonna post up at 186s. It's gonna be approximately 60 cents from where we're currently trading there. I just wanted to cover the IBIT profit taking there.
Yeah, I think I actually like your idea, Roger Noonan. We probably do need the wet the beak animation from The Godfather. I think it would be a lot better, or not better, that's not the word I wanna use, but more relevant.
Oh, what the?
To the saying itself, right? Guys, before we go to Joey options, CYCU continuing to put in higher lows, pardon me. but we're still south of $4. So I just went the beak there at 92s. I'm putting an order to front run the level at 4, and then I'm putting another order just south of the high of the day, which is at 407. So I have something at 405 over here, and we're gonna keep an eye out on that one. IONZ is coming back down into my entry, so we're gonna get out of that break even on the remaining amount. It is a lower high. What I wanna see is if it makes a lower low below $5.50. If it doesn't, if it comes into the 20 and holds up, and the 20 moving average on the 5 right now is at 60 or 59, I'm gonna get back into this one. So I'm keeping my eye on that, firmly put on that. And I also wanna mention that hot garbage, NVE, which stopped me out earlier, is working its way back up. And I think if NVE, excuse me, takes out 55, we could get another squeeze possibly into 65, 64.5, which is the high of the day. So it lost VWAP, now it's reclaim VWAP, reclaim the 20, reclaim the 10. What it needs to do is get above that 55 area resistance level. So I'm gonna keep my eye out on that, keep my eye out on IONZ as well, Joey.
All right, I did not mean to short NVDA there, guys. I made a mistake on my hotkeys. All right, for too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what's keeping so many traders on the sidelines, but that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital where Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading, trading powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. So yeah, there it is, guys.
MYNZ breaking out. Ooh. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I tell everybody because it's breaking out. MYNZ.
All right, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, there it is, guys. I did not mean to do this. There's a Bitcoin putting in a new low of the day. We'll wait a little bit here, but I accidentally went short on NVDA instead of going long there. So I might just hop out if it continues to grind higher. Chances are that it will now that I decided to go short at the break of this resistance zone. So as soon as we break this high there, I'll have to take a loss for, unfortunately. I wanted to post up at 86s for the long in the continuation. So if we do come back into there, we'll take out and then potentially flip the position to the long side. So that's unfortunate. All right, narrows. $5 per chat. Thank you for that. It's a little loud. Doubting BTC means trusting fiat and gold. Gold failed, hard to verify, hard to move. Mostly paper claims, and governments won't stop printing. All right, fair enough, brother. I'm with you on that one. So, I mean, yeah, gold is definitely hard to transfer.
And by the way, Brando and I saw this morning the Czech central bank adding, not much, Joey, but $1 million worth of crypto. Not all of it is BTC. Yeah. But it's nice to see.
Was it like seized assets, seized crypto? Or they actually went out and bought it?
Yeah, with actual cash to put on their treasury, which is nice. And that's something that you and I have been really wanting to happen. And we haven't because, well, the boomers still control the central banks, and the boomers don't like Bitcoin because they, well, they just don't like it. And so, you know, it's nice to see that there is at least, you know,
I mean, Pakistan did it too. They started their own reserve and stuff. They did, Yeah, they did a while ago.
The central bank?
Yeah. So I mean, they're rocking and rolling. I just got out of NVDA there, guys, just because that was a mistake. I wanted to post up at 186 to see if we can catch anything, and then I actually sold it instead. So glad we got out of that one, scratch-free essentially, and then now it's starting to grind a little bit higher. And you can see the volume and the momentum most definitely pick up there in NVDA. JD.com starting to grind a little bit higher.
Really?
As well too, yeah, heading right back into that trend line there, guys. But see, that's the thing, right? Like we could talk a lot about crypto. We can go on about it all day. But what it does is what I'm finding is that it's participating in the downwards momentum of the overall market. But then when we start to get bids, it's not participating. So for me, it's just relatively weak. Where are we going to head to? I like what Neo was pointing out the other day as well too, is you got to just draw your lines. At one point, it will turn around. When? I don't know. Hopefully, it just doesn't get too destroyed before that point. I think a lot of people would be screaming if it headed back towards 75K.
All right. Just trying to see who I'm going to take off here to put on MYNZ. I think I'll take off PLTZ. MYNZ. Let's do some, this is breaking out, man. This looks really good. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to get out of my IONZ add. So I added at 60, I took all the way up into 67, but it's coming back down. So it's not continuing here. So we're gonna take off here. Sorry, ENGS, yeah, I'm done with this trade. So let's put on MYNZ. Is this on the NQ? It is, okay. 192 day high. We just bounced off the 10 EMA. There's a bit of a buy up here. Let's see how this one's trading. What are we at in spread wise? 2 penny spread, not too bad. 10 EMA just south at 77s. That's on the 1. That's on the 1. Okay, so on the 10, it's at 65. Current bar low on MYNZ, 172.5. Prior bar low, 168. Okay, so I'm just deciding whether I want to work into this or not, because this is a topping tail from hell. Topping tail candle, not looking good over here. So I think I'm going to steer clear of this one. I'd like for it to come back down, maybe test that pre-market high at around 175. That's where it's at right now. Let's give this one a try, Joe. I'll just give it 75. So we're going to go 73, and then we'll just go like that. For that many, how many do we, where is it? MYNZ, 82s, okay. Let's set up some price spike pops on this one. Let's see if we can get something on here. If it breaks below 75, I'm out. I'll need continuation on this one. So that's what we're doing there. How's the CYCU trade doing? How's it looking? Still holding up. It's not rocketing up above 4, but I like my price, and I like the fact that I've taken out a lot over here. So that could be a good one. IONZ, I didn't get pushed out of because it still ended up holding the 20. So still holding at that 60 penny area, but I've already moved up my stop to 55s on that. So it's really gonna be MYNZ. There's a seller at 83 now. Previously it was a seller at 84. So it looks like as if the shorts are looking for that price spike down, it looks like they may be in control right now as we have lower highs on every successive pop. On the level 2 was 85, now it's 84, now it's acting as 82. So let's see if we can get a bit of a bid on MYNZ, Joe.
All right, cool, good stuff, guys. We just took a little bit more out on IBIT. I don't have much left, guys. A couple more out, and then we're done with this trade. As for that, nice movement to the downside. I had 57 was going to be in the works, and it's only a matter of time until this 56 breaks as well, too. So if you guys are a hella long IBIT like I am, just start writing some options against it. And then hopefully eventually within the next 6 months or something, it rebounds. If it doesn't by then yeah, it's not going to be too good. So yeah, there it is, guys. Overall market starting to slowly curl over. This is what I was talking to Gorb about earlier, is that now that we form that consolidated base, you're starting to get that smiley face curl over. You see that in the likes of Amazon, NVDA, Tesla starting to work out as well too. So that's why I wanted to post up in the middle of the range and at the lower end of the range to get this curl over back into VWAP. And if you find any indecision prints at that specific indicator, then I'm going to look for the continuation to the downside. We can head back over to our scanner to see if we like anything in particular or what you guys are going in. So Panda Pow says, let's go NVDA. Guys, make sure, don't forget to vote as well too. I'm going to vote one more time, $, and then the ticker that you want to see. There, all right, we got a super chat. I didn't see that one there. Oh, okay. All right, Neros, science advances one funeral at a time, so does BTC. All right, I feel you, brother. I know, listen. I appreciate the super chat. All of us do here in this room. Where I think the majority of the people here are Bitcoin bulls at the end of the day. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. But make sure you get in there and vote, and I can tell that you are as well. So yeah, other than that, guys, let's take a look at some other things. I don't have anything special going on. We can take a look at some of the SPY options, see how much volume we have been putting in on today's session. What is outweighing what? Is there going to be more put activity? And that's the beauty about puts. I think in the long term, if you have the capital in your account, it's not bad to just continuously sell cash secured puts on names like Meta. Obviously, it's lofty. Right now, if it's $600, you need 60 grand in your account to even write any of them naked. But you can always do your bull put spreads as well too. So as for our 0 DTE, Sharif, nothing crazy. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a lot there. 181,000 contracts traded here, 165. Then we head over to the call activity, and then 346,000 contracts written at 680. What are those worth right now? And where is 680? Oh my days. This is the beauty of it, guys. I would personally, if you can construct bull puts or bear calls on this, I would. So essentially what the options market is saying over here at 680, that there's still approximately an 80% chance that these contracts are going to expire out of the money, and you get to collect $32 per contract combination. Let's set up a bear call spread right now while we're at it, and then we'll send it over to Sharif. So what we'll do is we'll select these 80s, we'll go over to our strategy, we'll set up our verticals, and then we'll head over here, and then we'll go 5 points higher, which allows it. No, that's not even worth it at the end of the day. I'm not even going to show you guys the profile on it. Me as well, anyways. So there it is, profile. You don't collect anything whatsoever. Max loss is 185, which is an absolutely horrible max return, but that doesn't really work. 84% that's going to be profitable. Oh, it's because I have these up here. So as soon as we eliminate one, you're only collecting $7. It's not even worth the risk at the end of the day.
All right, guys. Taking out some prints on MYNZ to the high side. I just want to adjust my stop on this. I don't want to trade it in the same way that I had said prior. I'm not going to get out at 75. I like how this is generally holding up at the 80s. So I think that I may try to take some money fills here if possible. Let's go ahead and wait with smaller size at these levels. Oh, wow, what a price spike up there. Okay, into 88s we go on MYNZ. Here we go, 88s. The tape is picking up. Watch out for the breakout now. The tape is really picking up. Let's see if the shorts step in, though, as they see that same thing. Yeah, look at that blue. That's what I mean, guys. When you see that blue, that means people are selling below the bid. That means they want to get the hell out of there, or they're super exuberant on shorting. So I don't want to take out any more here. I want to price spike up. It's holding a higher low. We've got 1 more minute left on this 5-minute candle. Not even. We got 10 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. Let's see if we can get a price spike up into the 90s. It's a 92 penny high on MYNZ. Nothing doing quite yet. We are opening a new 5-minute candle, nothing doing. So we'll pack our patience there. Also, I added into CYCU, so I was almost done all my shares, and I like how this one was holding up higher lows. It's kind of changed its tune lately. I'm looking for a price spike up above 4. I like the ascending wedge with this kind of flat top into the mid-90s. That's what I perceive to be the case on CYCU. Nothing for me to do quite yet in terms of taking profit. I added at 90, and I'm just going to leave it there for a nice price spike up if warranted. Quickly, let's go back now to MYNZ, 89s now. So we took out the 90, 88 seller. There's 90. There's a price spike up. Okay, nope, right back down. So we take that 90 print. We don't continue. So the short's taking an aggressive position here. 91's now showing up on MYNZ. We didn't get the full ad. There's 93, there's 97, and there it is again. Here comes 2. Now we're going to wait at 202, 95 seller there. It's a $2 high. Watch out for the rejection at 2 and a big drop. We've seen this one drop aggressively before. 98s again on the level 2. 99s now. 2 showing up. There it is. 202. Print new high at day 209. Watch out for the reversal, topping tail candle, manifesting now on MYNZ. Possible rejection here. What do I got on here, Joey? I've got on 82, so I have a bit of a buffer. I didn't get the DCA into 72s, disappointing there. It's a 209 high, so by definition, I will wait at 11s. We're down below 2 we go. 99s, 01, so zigging and zagging, the shorts loving that $2 area off which to get short. Be careful here, guys. This is not the day for the monster breakouts on the small cap gappers. It just isn't, okay? If it starts doing it, then I'm wrong and I'll take my words back. But from what I perceived on the day, it's not. So 95's now coming in. How many shares do we have left? We only have 1 more out, okay? So I'm gonna pack my patience over here, see if we can get a nice price spike up on MYNZ. I feel good about this. So we're gonna cancel the dip trade, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop out break even on the remaining amount. There we go. So we won't go negative on this name, even if it does flush down. So MYNZ, good luck. Finally, gonna catch a bit of a bid here. To the high side. Keeping an eye on that. Now, CYCU still holding up generally at 90 in terms of a resistance level. I don't have any dip trades, and that's probably wrong because we're still putting in higher lows. We haven't broken that, so I'm going to go ahead. What's my price on CYCU? It's 87s. So I'm going to go ahead and wait over here in the low 80s. I'm going to wait there for a possible money fill. Let's see what we can get on that. I won't mind packing my patience on that one. And then IONZ, this has been doing nothing since I added at 60s. It's been kind of consolidative. It's now got a higher low on this current 5-minute candle, so Not a bad look there, but not the best either, Joey. And as I mentioned, MYNZ, topping tail candle into 09s, down into the high 80s, low 90s we go, so that it feels like, this one mean reverts. Now, the deal is, on MYNZ, if it clears 2 and holds 2 as a good level of support, and usually what I'm looking for is a decisive move above 2, I'm gonna add more into this position, but it's gotta do that first before I can add. So that's the look. T-Money says BTC at 100,000. Yeah, I think we just looked at it, brother. It was at 100,500, so, a potato sort of thing there.
Absolutely, man.
So that's my look at those bad boys here, and I'm waiting for a possible dip trade on CYCU, but MYNZ continues to zig and zag with 2. So it did have a topping tail candle, but as it works back into $2, it's looking less topping tailish. Shares 99, selling at 2 again. So an aggressive seller coming in at that $2 area. Not really surprised by that, Joey. So that's kind of the look there.
All right, good stuff there. Yeah, thanks T-Money for pointing that out there. I got one out left here on IBIT. We could take it out there. It doesn't even really matter. So we'll just hold that, bang. We'll take it out there, and that's that trade. And I was going to tell you guys here momentarily. So boom, we get in at 57.70s. We're now $1 in the money on IBIT, which is pretty good. You can see we're down 1.5%. But look, full disclosure here, Sharif. I've traded 5 names. Guess how many of them I'm green on?
3.
1, and I'm positive on the day. Right? No, I mean, what is there to be sorry for? We're green on the day. I've traded 5 names.
I want you to be green on all of them.
Yeah, hey, that's. But unfortunately, that's not the nature of the beast in trading. Some days you're rocking and rolling. I remember, I forget what it was. I was telling Sharif. It was earlier. I think it was in early or mid-October or something along those lines. I went like 16 for 16 or something like that on trade.
I do remember that. I do remember that. That was over a period of days, though.
It was like over like 2 or 3 days, right? I just like didn't put on a losing trade. Here today,
love it.
Here today, again, we got one positive name, and it's outweighed absolutely everything else than which we've traded. I mean, we made a mistake on NVDA. That was an accident. And then IDN was just for bleeps and giggles, right? But at the end of the day, there it is, guys. Risk to reward is extremely important on IBIT. Nice move to the downside. I was extremely bullish in the morning, but then just having the ability to flip the bias is important. Boom. As soon as that support level cracked, we were off to the races there. So if there's anything else you guys are looking at, I know we're going to start the news momentarily. We can fire it up at any given moment and get rock and rolling with that. Still lots of buyers on SPY. See, the thing is, what I'm looking at in the overall market is just watch the volume. It's extremely important. And then also the strength within each candle print. So you could see that these are more cleaner. They're closing more bearish. There's less buying pressure in the 5-minute bearish prints. So what can we do when we're looking at each specific individual candle? Well, what is each one story telling us? As I just mentioned, look at how little these wicks are in the red candles. But then when we head over to the green ones, i.e. the white ones, they're starting to see a lot more indecision prints, and they're not as strong, and the volume being relatively cool as well too. So just look at that just in case we do head back towards the low of the day. And when I'm talking about the grand scheme of things, here it is. You're down 2% off of those highs. 2 and a fifth, right? So it's no big deal. It's a complete small potatoes for right now. But we are comparing this to the likes of what MSFT was. We asked ourselves, hey, how long is this going to be sustainable? And a lot of us agreed not overly too long. And sure enough, look what we got going, just sideways price action, and something which Microsoft tends to do. So from January of 24 until January of 25, literally a year, you're consolidating, you break down, and then it's just completely off to the races with that. And I'm thinking the exact same thing with the SPY and the Qs here, Sharif.
Okay, guys. I got the ad on CYCU in the low 80s, looking for continuation now into 88s. Let's see if we get that. We didn't have too much left, so we had to add a little bit more. But it's really the tug of war happening here between the buyers and the sellers on MYNZ. At this 90 area, as I mentioned, anything below my entry at 82s, we're going to flatten out. So we'll take it out right there for the last remaining amount. The 10 EMA is overlapping with VWAP, though. So I'm going to put an order for a smaller amount at 78s because it's 77s. That's the buy area there. 82s now 80. Let's see if we can get that move into the 10 EMA on the 5 and whether it'll hold up. If it tanks, I'll just get out. There's a buyer here at 79. There was a buyer at 80, but he got decimated. Let's see if this one continues to work its way down. Not quite yet, not quite yet into the 10 EMA or VWAP, which is they're basically overlapping at this point. So this candle has a lower high and a lower low, by the way. So I think I'm just gonna wait. I don't have to take the order quite yet, right? There it is, into 79. Just watching, guys, just watching. Let's see if this one, yeah, so it did come in. Oh, wow, look at that flush. Right down into 70, so I had good instincts on that one. It felt like it was gonna drop, so good. Happy that I got out of that one before the blood came in quite aggressively. Look at that, losing the bid now into 70, MYNZ. Typical on a day like this. Sorry, I just closed my level 2 there. Let's go back though to CYCU. So we got the ad, very pleased with this ad. There it goes into 90. CYCU, we've got a good little ad there at 82. Now looking for continuation, but what we need here on CYCU is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, because we're not making any newer highs right now on CYCU. You get the price spike up, but there's really no continuation. 90 is where we're showing right now. I've got several orders posted in the mid 90s and into 4s. So we'll see if we can kind of get that. And then I did take a little bit off here on IONZ as it popped off. We're getting lower highs now though on IONZ. So if we don't make anything, a print above 573, I want to say 574, that'll be another lower high, and that will probably push me out of the trade, because, well, that'll be lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we might be on the way down to at least VWAP or something, maybe at 5.25. So I don't want to be part of that. Back to CYCU, we're showing 91s now, but also 81 on the bid. That means the spread is 10 pennies. That displeases me greatly. But what pleases me here is the respect for the 10 EMA on the 5, which we've been getting in spades on CYCU. Doesn't mean it's going to last forever. So looking for a move into 4. That prints me a whole bunch if we do get that said move into 4. IONZ again, that I'm just keeping my eye on that, popping off into 68. I'm waiting at 69 here on IONZ. What do we got on at the moment? We got 60.5. So I'm going to take this one off, wet the beak here at 68, see if we can get that, and then we'll put something north. Oh, it just gives me 69 as soon as I did that. That's okay. We'll put something at 73, and then we'll put something at 77s for a bigger move up on IONZ. Looking real good here. MYNZ is double bottoming now into 70, so it is being bought up momentarily at the 10 EMA, which is overlapping with VWAP, and right now it's got two, lower wicks that breach the 10 EMA and VWAP, but the buyers are stepping in at that area. So can we get continuation and possibly get me back into the trade for a move above 2? I don't know. I don't know if I like what I see here enough, Joey, to punch back into this. So I think I'm gonna steer clear of this one until it shows me that there are buyers stepping up. If it means I get a worse price, it just means I get a worse price. That's fine.
All right.
Super in the chat says Assassino. One wheeler. Now, will you like Snap? I personally have no problem with Snapchat as an app. I just don't think, based upon their business model, which is digital ad sales, they have the same sort of buying power as some of their competitors. And the reason I say that is because their audience is quite young. And so, if you're looking for people to buy things off your platform, that having a younger demographic is typically not the move. And nor does a chart really, is it enticing. Clearly there's a buyer here, and there has been a buyer for, I want to say 4 years, in and around $7. Every time it dips into 7, it's bought up quite aggressively. But it's just not for me. It's not for me. I mean, God bless Evan Spiegel. He's a great success story. Very interesting story, by the way, bro. They're from California. They had their original offices. Oh, I got to digress for a second, Joey, because CYCU is dropping off here. And it could be trouble for me. How many shares do we have into this? No, so we need to be careful here. It's into the 20. So just going back to what I was saying about Evan Spiegel and Snapchat, it's a great story. And I like where the company may go with augmented reality and those glasses. He was doing a special with Bloomberg with Emily Chang. there's a lot to like about the leaders, a lot to like about the company, but the financials are what they are. The price action is what it is, and until it changes, I don't change my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tesla is absolutely getting shellacked, dude. It is now below 400. It is now down 7 1/3, and the only reason I know that is because I'm looking at TSDD. TSDD is at the high of the day, 1122, meaning Tesla's at the low of the day. Tesla is absolutely getting crapped on. It is the worst performing Mag 7 name far and away. Second place is NVDA, down 4%. So it's a bad day for Amazon. It's a bad day for Google. The only two silver linings are Apple and Meta. They're down 1/4 and down 1/3, but that's because Meta's been getting shellacked lately, so maybe there aren't as many sellers as there should be on a day like this. But that's the situation I got right now, Joey. I'm keeping my eye on CYCU as well as IONZ. What do you got, my man?
Just keep having to opening up my tabs. I was just talking with Gaurav in the chat there. I could care less to see any other potential setups on today. I mean, obviously we can get dragged into something. This is pretty good. Like, you get that additional like lower. Now you're starting to get that volume to really kick in. Let's see how this 5-minute candle closes. I like it a lot. Amazon is just continuously bleeding as well too here, Sharif. Okay. But this is a pretty good look from some of these lows. You get these big time gap ups. AWS doing absolutely phenomenal. Indecision print, you do get an additional move higher. But when you see that hammer candle up at these highs in the middle of essentially nothing, get out of there, man. This is just extended move, and then you can see that the average true range within the price candles is just drastically starting to increase. Now you're heading towards these lows of 238. I'd be surprised if that holds up. We're going to probably start to fill this gap, and that's just me looking at it from a technical standpoint. And it's the exact same thing with the SPY, right? SPY, you get these massive moves up. Now things are starting to cool off. So just be prepared to trade within a specific range for quite some time until the market finds something new to be exuberant about, or they're like, hey, this AI trade is not over. We know how long it's been running for. Essentially, aside from Donald Trump saying buy stocks, what else is the market moving up on? There's probably a couple of things, but I think right now what's extremely in vogue is NVDA, GPUs, CPUs, who has the best stack, cloud, and everything along to the lines of AI. But when things start to cool down, sure enough, we can't just see the market go up all the time. So consolidate. This is some good. Bang. All right. Thank you very much for reminding myself. So I got to think about getting out of some. Look at that volume print there, Gaurav. That could be a nice potential play. Let's be patient on this one, brother, and wait for things to turn around. But I like our chances on this one. If it continuously breaks lower, but then we'll just wait for this type of consolidation zone. And then sure enough, if we get a base, post up at the lower end, and then maybe we can get the top end of the range. But what I was getting at here, this is perfect for the SPY condor style, right? So this is when you want to start printing those condors. Why? Because the VIX is probably slightly elevated on today's session. And then with that being said, we're going to catch those premiums at a high. And even if it does increase, we're starting to form our range. And with that being said, where did this stupid chart go? SPY, let's pull that up. So what we can do here, we'll do it right now, and we're going to do it live.
You're going to do it live?
We're doing it live, brother. I'm going to do it live here for everyone. So what we'll do is we'll just set up a basic condor. And for those who aren't familiar with the options activity, the Iron Condors was one of my favorite setups that I used to run quite often. So at the end of the day, it's range trading. You don't have to be directionally biased. When we're intraday trading stocks here, you need a bias at the end of the day because you won't be able to make money.
Bro, they both look really good.
Yeah, they look really good, man. Yeah, look at Ben. Look at Ben. He's looking
this is going to be a great
man.
Fight on Saturday, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great. What are they? Middleweights?
Yeah, I think so.
160?
Yeah, it's like super middleweight, isn't it?
167?
Yeah, or something. I think.
It's going to be a good fight, Joey.
Yeah, it's going to be a dog fight. I mean, the first one was a complete dog fight for sure. Those are the best ones to watch. Hopefully, no one gets that. Listen, I told you I don't have anybody involved. Like, I don't have a specific individual, but I would like to see Connor Ben win because I just like him. Adara, what do you got for us? And then we'll set up this condor momentarily.
What I have here is some commentary from Fed's Hammock, who, as I mentioned repeatedly, has been one of the more hawkish members of the Fed as of late. Hammock saying that inflation is still too high and that it's actually moving higher. Market is consolidating near low of day. Back to you.
All right, cool. So guys, let's take a look at our range.
Joey, NVE is breaking out. I see it, Bovin, I do, but like it's still a lower high. This is the one. Sorry, Joey, just quick before you continue. NVE still got higher lows. This is an aftermarket mover from yesterday. Be careful with this one. It does have a tendency to drop, but it is breaking out. Thank you for calling it out, Bovin.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's get this started here. And we'll build a specific trade here. We're gonna go with the Iron Condor. So we have this set up right now, guys. By the way, is absolutely disastrous in this account right now. It's not a good whatsoever, man. Damn it. As Bitcoin continues to bleed. So let's set this up, guys. We got the Iron Condor trade going. It's essentially a range-based trade. So you pick a lower end of the range, you buy or you sell a bull put spread, and then you sell a bear call spread. And what that tells us is, hey, we don't need the stock to go higher or to go lower, just trade within a specific range. And we're gonna set that up right now. Let's pull it up. I'll pull a SPY on an additional chart over here. May take some time, but it's the beauty of some of these things. So we'll go with a high of around 690 and see what this is going to pay us on the SPY 690. It's all the way up here, $2.06 is what we're gonna collect for our short leg. And then we wanna go $5 higher. Which is pretty good. We're off to a good start. Already on that one spread, we're collecting $100. Bang, just like that, as quick as you would like. So yeah, exactly. So now let's head over and construct our bull put spread. And that is going to be a low of around 650. So what we want to do is we want to short our initial put right here at 650, and then we want to buy our protection over here at 645. Now you're not going to be collecting as much on this one, roughly around $42. But let's take a look at our profile and the probability of profit. So this chart here is an options gauge on which your profit and when you're going to lose. The Condor is relatively simple because within this range right here is when you are going to collect all of your premium. So people would say, hey, Joe, why am I going to risk $354 to make $145? Well, my answer to you is, well, think about it if you have a 70% chance of this trade working out. And you also don't need to collect all of it. So you go in a range on the SPY from 650 all the way to 690, and that's going to be expiring 3 weeks from now. So near the end of the week, as long as the SPY stays within that specific range, you have the ability to collect $145. That's just per contract combination. If you multiply that by 5, obviously your max loss is going to increase, but the amount of premium is going to increase as well too. And you can never make more than the premium you've collected. So for me, as long as we continue to consolidate within this specific range, I think it's Condor season, guys.
All right, guys, let's start the news segment as we're about 5 to 1. I just want to make sure that I have stops for all my orders there, Joey. So I'm just going to double check. IONZ, we got the stop for there. CYCU, we got the stop for. How about the other one, OLTK? Yes, we do have the stop involved for that. So good luck. Let's get right down to work. There's a whole bunch to talk about today, guys. So we're gonna be going through some stuff, baby. All right, let me just set it up over here, Joseph Options. All right, good luck, good luck. So U.S. government shutdown, thankfully, ends after 43 long days. So President Trump in the Oval Office yesterday, as you probably already know, signed a short-term funding bill ending, yes, the longest U.S. government shutdown in history after 43 days. This funds the government operations through January 31st. So sadly, this could come into play again in late January, okay? The bill passed the House 222 to 209. We already know it had passed the Senate the day prior by a vote of 60. 2 Republicans, Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Greg Stube, whatever, voted against the funding bill, while 6 Democrats broke ranks and supported it. With the Senate passed the measure earlier with 7 Democrats and 1 independent joining Republicans, passing that filibuster 60 vote threshold. The agencies now are instructed to resume normal operations today, and obviously some of the issues that were at play were the extension of the Affordable Care Act for healthcare. The Department of Transportation, though, was also an issue here because there were certain flight reductions, which had reached about 6% of the scheduled flights and were set to climb to 10 due to the air traffic control shortage. Obviously a very dangerous proposition when we talk about something like that. So it's good to see that they're back open. Adira, how did you absorb this information? Were you looking at airlines, or what were you absorbing here in terms of this trade?
Sorry, I was eating the lunch. I will say with regards to the shutdown that it's interesting. I mentioned this during our Happening Now segment as well, but the best 2 days, or I guess the best 2 shutdown periods for the market were both under President Trump, and they were both the longest ever. So if you think about it, like, sure, as people were sad, like, oh, you know, as traders were like, oh, this sucks, the market's closed, we don't have any economic data to trade off of, what have you. But then also, if you think about it, that also means there's no bad economic data to digest, right? I actually think it's a double-edged sword, and I think you can really see that happening today. Now we're like, oh, we're gonna have to deal with the fact that we don't have this data, et cetera, right? Like Kevin Hassett saying, hey, we might never get unemployment data. So I'm not saying by any means that it was a good thing that the government shut down, not for the market, not for anything, but I'm saying that I think we lived in this fun little cloudy bubble, good times where, oh, nothing could hurt us. Economic data can't hurt us because we don't have any. The Fed can't react to anything because they don't have anything to react to. And now that bubble has been stabbed by this ending of the shutdown. I think we all are going to wake up to reality. And unfortunately, today, reality not too rosy for these here markets, specifically if you were long. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I think with regards to the flights as well, I expect a lot more pain because you can't just magically, like, you know, wake up and erase all of these issues, right? So I think the flight sector and maybe the healthcare sector as well, probably most on watch here.
All right, thank you very much. IONZ continuing to climb, guys. So looking for a print there at 77s were posted up there. So keep your eye out for that. All right, let's talk about Disney's Q4 earnings. Kind of a mixed bag here, so let's get right to it. So $1.11 for EPS. They beat on the bottom line. The street was looking for 105. Revenue did miss, though, $22.46 billion in revenue. The street was looking for $22.75. The company saying they were weighed down heavily by TV networks and the theatrical releases. Net income more than doubled year over year, though, so they were able to shore up costs. They brought home about $1.44 billion, showing good, strong margin recovery despite the flat top line. So how did they do in their different segments, guys? Entertainment value. Why is it so loud? Entertainment value, so dropped 6% year over year, down to $10.21 billion. The pressure here comes from linear TV network declines as well as underperforming film releases. Weak ad revenue also being blamed here, especially on their legacy networks like ABC and their other cable networks, with their operating income for linear television dropping 21% year over year. So the cable cutters, the cord cutters, whatever they're being called these days, continue to do their thing, certainly affecting Disney. And the ongoing carriage dispute as well with YouTube going on since Halloween further hampered viewership as well as ad dollars. In case you don't know, ESPN and some other Disney networks no longer being shown on YouTube TV because of dispute between the two companies about how much they should be charged for having their channels on there. Despite all the problems with linear television and legacy television, streaming does remain to be the bright spot. Their operating income for streaming services, 39% year over year bump, and they added 3.8 million subs in the quarter. They've got now 131.6 million subscribers, with Hulu just alone 64.1 million subs. And you know, this is probably the last time we're going to get this, because the company said this is the last quarter that Disney will report subscriber numbers or the average revenue per user, the ARPU, and they're going to shift to like a Netflix style metrics. That's typically when you know the company is nearing maturity in terms of its growth, right? So, you know, we always, I hate to pigeonhole companies, but oftentimes this is what we need to do. You know, companies that have grown and that are just going to continue to generate revenue from ads or from other, you know, subscribers and just flatline in the growth. And then there's companies that have an up and to the right growth curve, right? So typically when you're not up and to the right anymore and you're kind of past that growth phase, of your lifespan, then you stop showing the user metrics because it dissuades investors. So keep that in mind. ESPN and the sports segments grew 3% year over year, bringing in about $4 billion in revenue. However, the company said, look, we had to spend a whole bunch on the new ESPN direct-to-consumer app, which ate into our margins this quarter. So we do expect the subsequent quarters, as well as the year-over-year comparisons, to be a lot better. So we'll have to see how that does. Operating for that was flat, Joey, just below 900 million.
All right, let's take a look at some of the technicals here on Disney and see what we got going on. Christoph Ocean, we'll get to your super chat in one moment here. A nice little pop-up. Oh, sorry, I'll eat that word quick. I mean, this stock's been in trouble for quite some time, right? So you have multiple gap ups, a lot of it going on with obviously the proxy war between Iger and what's his name? Peltz, Nelson Peltz and everything along those lines. He's completely out of Disney. It was riding for a little bit. This name was getting smoked for quite some time. And then we started to get a little bit of a bounce off of these bases here at $79, but then you get this continuous move. So you're stuck within this range, and there's key resistance zones over here. I didn't get to read too much on the report, but I'm still seeing that we have some growth across the platform, which is good, and streaming doing significantly better than what it used to do.
All right, Joey, got to tell them about something your heart will beat 100,000 times today, and every beat is a data point. AIML Innovations trading under ticker AIML on the Canadian Stock Exchange, and if you want to go to the OTCs, it's AIMLF. They turned that into data, into potentially life-saving insights with max yield, and an AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat with lab-grade precision, and shrinks the ECG analysis from days down to minutes. Their mission? To revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, and prevented. So learn more at AIML.health and follow them on social media at AIML_Innova, INNOVA on X. Shout out to AIML. I think I said those letters quite a few times. Adira, Disney.
Let's talk about Disney. And I want to first say, in the great words of Elon Musk, hi, Bob. Let's talk here, because I think the revenue, the experiences revenue is strong. That's maybe not a sector I was expecting to be so good, truthfully. But the biggest thing I noticed here, Sharif, first when I read these numbers, and then also when you repeated them back here, is that, like, clearly streaming is their strong suit, and these networks, as well as apparently their new releases too, those are going to be a bit more of a weak point. So Disney and Bob and whoever's listening, why don't you just focus on like streaming and focus on maybe repackaging or advertising these older releases? Because I want to know people's opinions in the chat legitimately, because I'm curious, but you don't hear a lot of people super excited for Disney's like new movies, right? People like the old Disney classics. People are clearly not going to the theaters as much for those new films. So I think maybe, and I'm not saying they can't make new movies, that would be a stupid business strategy, but I'm saying maybe de-emphasize that, or emphasize, you know, sub-sectors that are working, like our friends at Pixar, et cetera, right? I think just really streamline your efforts, and maybe these linear networks need to, you know, be turned off, like turn the channel, I don't know. Because I think that's clearly not a business that's working for them right now. And as mentioned, the YouTube situation certainly isn't helping.
Dara, I just want to let you know the Katina Man is now short Tesla at $400 as that stock continues to bleed 7 3/4 in negative territory, and it is by far the worst performing Mag 7 name on the day. Let's go on. There's, get it, George. All right, shout out to George Washington. Joey, CISCO. They're joining that AI money flow, okay?
Yeah, apparently.
All right. Katina Man was rightly pointing out that this stock, what year was that? 99 you were pointing out? 2020? That's the last, okay. So 2020, we're finally back into 2020 levels. So if you've been holding on to this, you're probably a little happy right now, and we're happy for you. So let's talk about how they did. EPS came in at $1, beating the 98 pennies expected. Check on the bottom line. How about that top line? $14.88 billion. Check there. The street was only looking for 14.77, clearing expectations across the board. And guess what, Joey? That is the fourth consecutive quarter of growth, and revenue grew 8% year over year. Good look there. Net income, that profitability, that take-home money, is a beautiful $2.86 billion on the year, and that is up from the $2.71 billion. Those are healthy margins, man. That is very healthy there. 14.88. Joey, can you do the math for us here? What is that in terms of net margins? 14.88 million on the revenue top line, 2.86. We just have to divide, and we'll be able to see exactly how much they're not gross income, but net income is, because that's a fantastic look there. Shares jumped to AH, I don't know, all-time highs, already adding to a very strong 25% year-to-date bump, ahead of the Nasdaq, which is up 21 at the time of the writing of this article. Networking, strength, and AI tailwinds are being credited for this, but there goes CYCU, and I get a whole bunch of prints on that, so we're gonna wet the beak some more on this monster. Where are we at here with price 87s? We just took some in 97s. Good luck, but topping till candle. Careful. So networking strength and AI tailwinds being credited here. They're saying their core networking segment delivered a 15% year-over-year bump, and that makes up about half of the revenue. 7.77 billion is how much that generated, which beat the 7.47 expected by the street. They're crediting hyperscalers. They're saying they're aggressively spending on AI and data centers. Never heard of that. CISCO rolled out also a new NVIDIA-based Ethernet switch, which is helping the company plug directly into the AI cluster build-out cycle. They also have other segments, but it was mixed performance there. What am I talking about? Security revenue, 1.98 billion, but that's down 2% year over year and substantially below the 2.16 the street was looking for. Their collaboration revenue, by far their smallest segment. Oh, baby, CYCU is taking out heads here. Oh my, why was I not posting more on this, man? Sorry, I got to post over here because I didn't have any resting orders like an idiot. Seriously? Okay. We're going to post up into 18s as well. Jeez Louise. Collaboration revenue, 1.06 billion. That's down 3% year over year and also missing the expectations of 1.09, Joey. They did guide better than expected revenue for the upcoming quarters for Q2. They're saying 15 to 15.2 billion ahead of the 14.6 estimate, as well as EPS. So hunky-dory if you're looking for the future here. What's your take?
Yeah, absolutely. Some good stuff here coming from Cisco. As you mentioned, networking up 12% year over year, security up 9%, and then cloud and service provider orders rose 49% year over year. So not too bad of a look. That's justifying this big time gap up in which we're experiencing. But guys, keep in mind, considering what we got going on with this AI trade, we've seen it in the likes of NVDA and some of the other bigger names. After this gap up, we just end up feeling it. Oracle's been an absolute disaster ever since that happened. Now you're past that gap to the downside. Cisco, I would not be surprised whatsoever if we do the exact same thing. I'm not going to say we're going to bleed as aggressively there, Sharif, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gap to the downside does get filled.
All right, where's that super? Let's just have a look over here. Assassino said there was a super.
Holy
Thank you, brother.
Bitcoin.
Christopher Ocean, Joseph, I am sending you to rehab for your Bitcoin addiction. Bitcoin is cooked. Family intervention time, dude. Are you from the future, Chris?
Yeah, I think he is, man. This
guy's talking very confident.
The big game.
Thank you for your super chat. $5, my man, dropping cash in the chat. Maybe he brought that money from the future. Let's go on to Alibaba going all in on the ChatGPT kind of rival look. So Alibaba's prepping a full remake of its Tongyi mobile AI apps, and it's rebranding them as Qwen. We know Qwen was their LLM. Kind of to align as its flagship AI model. The revamp, though, is aimed at making Qwen function more like chat. Now, we've seen many different, LLMs come onto the scene. None are as versatile, though, as chat in terms of multimodals, right? The other ones may have better responses, but in terms of flexibility and multimodal ability, chat still rocks. They want to add advanced conversational features and a unified UI across iOS and Android. And they say more than 100 developers are all working on the redesign, reflecting Baba's, that aggressive push to catch up in the global AI race. They also really want to get it into agentic AI, Joey. That's like all the hype right now. You've got CRM throwing their hat into that ring. Everybody wants to throw their hat into the agentic ring, and that's what they're doing. They plan to layer agentic AI capabilities directly into Qwen, enabling things like, like smart shopping across their Taobao platforms, which makes sense. That's vertical integration 101. Just check out Tesla and you know what vertical integration is. The goal is to evolve Qwen into a fully autonomous AI agent, which is going to help users browse products, compare options, execute tasks end-to-end, all the things that we typically associate with Qwen. There goes CYCU, go CYCU, you piece of you-know-what. All right, so there it is into the high of the day, Joey. 10 showing up now. We're looking for a break above. I'm at 11 and I'm at 19. It's up 28%. It's still a prohibitive spread, but the fact of the matter is there it goes into 11s. Now I'm waiting at 11 here. Let's see if we can cross so we can get that print so we can go back to the news. Not quite yet, Joey, so let's go back to the news.
All right.
So everybody and their mother wants to throw their hat into the agentic ring. What do you make of this whole thing?
Yeah, it's very interesting as I'm reading up on it. Sharif, you mentioned some things about it not too long ago as well, too. So I guess the revamp emphasizes commercial use, showing a strategic pivot to monetize AI through individual user service and to accelerate Alibaba's response time, which I think is relatively interesting. Here it is in the ADR world. We had a big time gap up. I mean, 160, you close on yesterday's session, and then you open up at 164 roughly. You have now filled that gap, and it's the exact same thing in which I'm talking to and referring to from an intraday standpoint. Watch for these support levels to be broken, and then maybe you can head into that next level to the downside, which roughly can be around $150 there, brother.
All right, Joey. And by the way, they said the revamped Qwen, guys, is going to be free for now. Underline that for now. So
yeah, it's the way they again. Then they suck you in, monetize
there you
it,
go.
and then you're
there you go, Joey. You know how it works. Let's go. JD.com pops despite profit drop. So in case you don't know, if you're not following, I think we just finished Singles Day in China, and it was not good. It was not as good as expected, and that is their biggest shopping day, single day of the year, and it didn't meet expectations. They're saying the Chinese consumer is quite frugal at the moment, and obviously JD.com is online shopping, so that hurts them. There goes CYCU again, Joseph. Into the high side.
Bro, why didn't you tell me about this one earlier?
What do you mean, bro? What am I supposed to announce everything?
Yeah,
there it goes, Joey. What do we got on? We got
it.
83s. We just took out 14s. 15 is the high of the day. We're waiting at 17s, but we still got shares, so we got to post more. We're going to wait at 23. Shout out to Jordan. And then we're going to wait a little bit higher, Joey. We're going to knock on the door of that third of $1, so we'll put that there. Pardon me. Let's go now and talk about what JD.com did in their earnings. They posted profits, not revenue, of $850 million. It's about 5.8 billion yuan. Sharply lower, though, than last year. Joey, what the hell is going on here? They take home 13.17 billion yuan. That's not even half. They took 5.8 billion this time, driven by higher investment and food delivery expansion. Okay, so they're expanding. Okay, calm down, Sharif, calm down.
Calm down, brother.
Revenue rose 15% year over year, just a little shy of 300 billion yuan. That beat expectations, and it signaled a stabilization in consumer demand. The profit there was expected to be 4.23 billion yuan on revenue of 294. What's the competitive landscape, and what's the problem with the price wars there? So JD, Alibaba, Meituan remain locked in a fierce e-commerce price war, which is having the effect of compressing margins all across the sector. We're talking about China's top regulator scolding these companies in the way that they scolded the EV companies for a race to the bottom. What does that mean? That means I undercut you, you undercut me, Katina Man undercuts me, then Neil comes in and he undercuts Katina Man. Right?
You're not doing it. You're not undercutting.
He doesn't want to be involved. No, but the point is it's a race to the bottom. So everybody starts cutting their prices and margins keep compressing and compressing. Companies don't do well. So the regulator is warning companies, stop lowering prices, and they want to push the firms into what they're calling, not my words, rational competition, discouraging aggressive subsidy battles. Joey, we talked about them spending a whole bunch of money on food delivery. So let's talk about the food delivery. Their food delivery unit is scaling quickly to build synergies with JD Retail, which is helping reduce investment needs sequentially in Q3. The CEO said, he highlighted, I should say, improved unit economics and a pullback in food delivery spending, which support margin recovery and reduce barn burn rates. I like that, barn burn, eh?
Barn burn, a good old barn burner. I mean, we've seen this in the likes of DoorDash, Sharif. when they're increasing their investment, the street doesn't necessarily love it. Obviously, they're going to be spending boatloads of cash. And just so I'm going to put it out there, if that's the case, I'm undercutting everybody. I'll run negative. It doesn't even matter. I'll flush everyone out of the market, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. But no, as for the long-term growth, management emphasized continued investment in logistics and customer experience, innovation, and foundations for sustainable long-term expansion. It sounds identical to what we heard in the DoorDash report as well, too, right? So, yeah, I mean, with JD, these ADRs are a tough space. It's that flat bottom break once again, Sharif. Did we got it here?
I got it.
You got it, all right. Hit that flat bottom break. I mean, that's what the narrative has been from an intraday standpoint and from the technicals on a daily as well, too, on JD.
All right, let's talk about Baidu, Joey. Another Chinese company. Sorry, 3 back-to-back there, but there was a whole lot of China-specific news today. They announced, Baidu that is, announced 2 new in-house AI semiconductors aiming to give Chinese firms access to powerful, low-cost, and most notably, domestically controlled compute as the U.S. chip export ban tightens. And let's just call a spade a spade. The Chinese regulator doesn't want the Chinese companies buying American microchips anyway. We know that. The MI100, or Lisa's going to have to sue them, bro. Or this is the M100, not the MI, my mistake. The M100 chip is an inference-focused chip, and it will launch early in 26, while the M300, which is both inference and training, we've explained the difference before, slated for early 27. So we're seeing a lot more of this, guys. The in-house development of AI compute continues to manifest in China. It was just a matter of time, especially with U.S. restrictions limiting access to NVIDIA's top-end silicon. Baidu is positioning itself, this article writes, as a strategic domestic alternative. We know Huawei has got their hat into the ring. As I was telling Neil this morning, SMIC, not SMCI, SMIC, no longer traded in North American markets, also reported earnings today out in China, and their revenue is up like 30% year over year. Be on the lookout for that. And you can trade Chinese markets on IB, by the way. There goes CYCU again, Joey. Here it is into 18s. We're going to wet the beak here, baby. And we're going to take out that at the top so that we can continue to ride this one. Now we're going to put it at the third of a dollar. CYCU continuing to trend real well over here. Let's go on and talk about their super node computers. I think we've basically covered enough there. We don't have to go into these super node products. Basically, they're building AI chips. What's your take on this?
All right, yeah, no, I'm just reading some of this report here. So this is Baidu aggressively expanding its AI cloud and intelligent driving business to offset declines in traditional search advertising. I find relatively interesting. We'll take a look at Baidu. We had Bilibili as well too, Sharif, that reported. Do we have anything on Bilibili as well?
I don't got anything, Joey, no.
They reported though.
They did?
Yeah.
My bad.
I mean, no. I mean, it's, hey man, don't ever do that again, right? Make sure you get all those.
I saw Joey Hands, bro. I don't want to upset Joey Hands.
Next time, all those ADRs aren't on there, all right, we're not doing it. It's done. It's all right, but no, I'm obviously joking. No, but in all seriousness, guys, it's the same narrative. We talked about it growing in cloud, but overall revenue slightly down, I think 2% year over year. But as for Baidu, guys, we went over the previous 3 names. Watch out for the support levels to start breaking, and that's going to be at that 117 level. You can't complain because this performance has been pretty good from the middle of the summer, roughly August. You get a nice climb from that $85 level, and you pretty much, come on, you can do it. Pretty much double your money right there, 0.75%, so or 100%, so 77.65. And then now you are a little bit of ways off of those tops. Just be patient right now. The market is definitely in a cyclical effect. Are we going to get that Christmas rally? I mean, we're starting to head into there. Is it going to affect some of these ADRs? Only time will tell.
All right, guys. Adara, what's your take on Baidu?
I think with Baidu, I'll say it one more time here. Jensen called it. If we have these export control issues between the U.S. and Canada, the U.S. and China, it really just gives China an excuse to get good AI. I mean, I don't know the quality here of Baidu's chips, obviously, but the fact that they're trying to make these AI chips already shows they're trying to continue to get ahead. And at this point, I don't think you can unring that bell between the U.S. and China with regards to export controls, even with trade issues, because I just think it's its own separate entity of problem. But either way here, guys, yeah, I think BIDU absolutely, I guess, the fact that this one is yet another one entering the chip race, and the AI chip race specifically, just shows, I think, the extent to which these Chinese names are going to be able to catch up. And, I know Jensen kind of not redacted, but certainly walked back his comment with regards to China winning the AI race. But truthfully, they're accelerating quite quickly, and they've had reason to because of these export control issues. So the U.S. better make sure they're accelerating just as fast to make sure they keep up.
On to the next story. The EU targets Google over unfair search demotions. We brought this story to you guys yesterday, but we didn't have all the deets, so let's get right down to it now. So as per usual, the EU has launched a formal antitrust investigation into Google's spam and site reputation abuse policy following complaints from European publishers. What are we talking about? The regulators here are saying Google's algorithm, mind you, the Google algorithm changes may be demoting news outlets and publishers in search results where they host third-party commercial content, obviously prioritizing those. The crackdown began in March 2023 to stop parasite SEOs, where low-quality third-party pages are posted on reputable sites to boost rankings. So why are the publishers so angry? Publishers here are arguing Google's policy directly harms a legitimate revenue model, which is them partnering with advertisers or commercial partners who produce the content on their sites. The EC, the European Commission, says early monitoring actually suggests Google's policy is reducing publisher traffic, further hurting a sector already struggling with declining ad revenue. Sorry, Google, you've got to boost other companies at your expense. That's the European model. That's kind of what I'm hearing here. Now, what's Google's response? Google argues the investigation is misguided, claiming the policy is essential for protecting users from spam and lower quality content. Google notes that a German court already dismissed a similar complaint, ruling the policy fair and consistent. The company says the enforcement targets deceptive tactics, Joey, not legitimate publishers, and they're ensuring competitive fairness for original content creators. This isn't typically a tech story we typically care about, but because the DCA, the digital whatever, or DMA, Digital Markets Act that they have over there, can fine you, I think 10% of your global revenue, something like that. We can check the exact amount. That's easy to find. But, you know, that's not a small amount. No. That's obviously market moving if you get fined something like that.
Yeah, well, there it is. Now, I'm glad that you brought this up. Sharif, the EU has previously fined Google alone over 8 billion euros since 2017.
How much?
8 billion euros since 2017. So, I mean, that's the cost of doing business at the end of the day, man. Yeah, it is. You know what you say. Tell me you're broke without telling me you actually have no money at the end of the day. But Google, listen, I'm not going to complain about this. You're up almost 100% from those April lows, considering, right? Like you had the previous probe into them done by the SEC here. Boom, that the judge ruling essentially in Google's favor, saying, hey, you know, you just got to release a little bit of data, allowing them to continuously pay Apple that X amount of billion to be the primary search engine. I like Google in the long run, especially because they have so much down the pipeline. Oh, one thing that I wanted to talk about as well too, aside from what we got going on in the EU. Do you know how many more million miles logged Waymo has than Tesla?
I saw Deidre post.
You seen that one? Yeah, you seen that one?
I did see that one, Joey.
Now they're on the highways and everything along those lines. Yeah. So, do you think that Elon is going to be able to play catch up relatively quick?
But you don't think that data point is a little misleading? And here's why I say that. That's not taking into consideration all the FSD miles. And
that's fair.
The whole thing. Yes, because there's a driver sitting there, and he's monitoring. He's got to have it, his attention. Just in case. But let's cut the crap, Joey. How many FSD drivers are not,
Katina Man's probably next to sign up for FSD.
Yeah, he's got a trip to Boston. He might actually get that. It's going to cost him $100. I think that's a great deal.
That's it?
Frankly, yeah. It's $100 a month. Isn't it? $100 a month? Yeah, but you can cancel, right? Yeah, so there's.
Why don't you try it out?
Open-ended obligation.
How it is. I mean, but at the end of the day, you got to tell you would probably want to try it out for a 100 smacker. I mean, that's a sweater. That's cheaper than that sweater that you bought right there. yeah, exactly.
Let's go on to Starbs. Starbucks phases major strike on Red Cup Day. Tell me the unions are getting aggressive without telling me the unions are getting aggressive. Starbucks Workers United launched an open-ended strike. across at least 40 U.S. cities involving 1,000 baristas and 65 stores. The walkout, of course, was timed for Red Cup Day, one of Starbucks' highest volume promotional days, obviously looking to hurt the company, raising operational revenue and risk. The union authorized the open-ended strike after failing to reach a collective bargaining agreement with Starbucks. Here are the demands and the breakdown in the bargaining. So Workers United is pushing, of course, for higher wages, improved hours, and the resolution of hundreds of unfair labor practice charges against the company. Negotiations have been stalled since last year. Attempts at mediation in February also failed. Baristas did reject Starbucks' April economic proposal, and both sides blame each other for abandoning negotiations. The union now claims that they represent over 12,000 workers at 550 stores. Starbucks pushes back. They say, nah, you guys represent about 9,500 stores under the same number of, or 9,500 workers under the same number of stores. Here is the response from Starbucks and management's position. They say the company will remain fully staffed across its nearly 18,000 locations, minimizing disruptions. They maintain it offers, quote, the best job in retail, averaging $30 an hour. That is with benefits, that's not actual pay, and accuses the union of abandoning the bargaining table. Executives say they are ready to negotiate and have 30 tentative agreements already drafted. Starbucks insists it can reach a solution quickly if Workers United returns to negotiations. Takes here, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, so the union represents about 9,500 baristas, 1,000 of them, so that's about 10% of them walking off the job, essentially, and going on strike. That's never good. You want to hit those negotiation tables without any form of questioning. It takes a while. I remember I experienced one myself in the likes of the Air Canada strike when I was actually going on a trip. Things get closed down for some while, and you know what? It's not a good time, so hopefully they can get that back up and running and come to some sort of a deal. Now, as for what the stock has been up to, is this a long-term investment? I just think it's such a tough space to be involved with here in Starbucks. I personally don't like the stock.
Yeah, look how many common gaps got filled there, right?
It's just like, this is just like too much of doing nothing for too long, essentially, right? Like all these pops are getting faded. I get it, you climb up all the way up to 117 and change right there, but now you're down 30% from that specific
Let me
level.
ask you a question before we get Adair's take. How quickly does union action like this push robotization into the space?
Oh, I think they want to prolong it as much as they possibly can, no?
What do you mean?
Why would they want them to like robotize the baristas if it's not union, it's not people working for it?
Right, but if you're going to have labor actions, it's disruptive to business. Also, the baristas are, as you saw there, with benefits are taking about $30 an hour. The robot is going to be a one-off cost, and obviously maintenance and upgrades and all that stuff that comes with it.
Now, as a shareholder, you probably want that to speed up.
Why wouldn't the company though want to do that?
Well, as the company, absolutely. But as a company, you would absolutely want to. As an individual working within the union, you don't want that.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. We're misunderstanding each other. We're both on the same page.
Oh, okay, So I thought you were saying, as the union, does the union want to speed up the negotiations?
No, of course not. No.
So
So that's kind of my take there. So as the unions become more aggressive, I think the company looks for ways out and ways to be efficient, and robotization is the next one. Adira, give us your take.
So my take here is, and I don't want to be rude to the Starbucks union, but I don't really know if this moves the needle, especially if they're saying no contract, no coffee, and they're trying to hurt its holiday profits. Like, let's talk about the numbers here that are in Sharif's note. So at least 40 U.S. cities. I just Googled here how many U.S. cities have Starbucks locations. So it fluctuates, but apparently it's over 3,800 cities. So that's 40 cities out of 3,800. And then again, locations, roughly just over 65. Apparently there's anywhere from 17,000 to 18,000 locations of Starbucks in the U.S. So I don't know how much of a dent you're going to make just due to the size of this strike and the amount of people that are going to be drinking Starbucks in whatever city they can, right? Like, oh, that Starbucks is closed, they'll just drive over to find a new one. Like, truthfully, I don't really think this moves the needle. I do think it's another mark against CEO Brian Niccol, who I've expressed my issues with him in the past. I don't really know what he's doing here, and I think, honestly, stop focusing on how many Sharpies you have to buy to make sure people are signing the cups and focus on, like, resolving issues like this, because I don't think it's going to hurt profits, but it's not a great look necessarily for the company, especially given the fact that his tenure has just not been super standout so far.
Thank you very much for that. All right, let's go on to the next topip. Just allow me a second to organize myself here. I do apologize. Wells Fargo turns bullish on Nike, and I just got a message from Alfred. He's long Nike. I'm like, yeah. Well, they just got an upgrade today from Wells Fargo. And he's like, yeah. Uncle Al was first. They're just following second. Shout out to him. Upgraded is Nike by Wells Fargo from equal weight to overweight, and now they're saying they upgraded them because they see a clear path to profit stabilization and growth. It's this Ike Boruchow guy. He raised the price target from $60 up to 75, which based upon the price at the time of the writing of this article is a 17% upside from there. The shift in sentiment by Wells Fargo after 3 years of negative earnings revisions. And the analyst says he likes Nike's P&L trends. He sees them as bottoming, which gives him better clarity for a model recovery. He's also forecasting full year 26 and full year 27 to raise EPS due to improved unit economics and better margin leverage. Also, he believes Nike can exit full year 26 with a 3 to 4% revenue growth on that top line and about 200 basis points gross margin expansion. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, though, at Nike, especially for their, their classic franchises. We're talking about Air Force Ones, Jordans. They have declining sales after stabilizing, after years of downtrends. But it's their non-classic footwear, apparently that's accelerating with new silhouettes driving incremental growth. So I personally, I don't wear Air Force Ones, I don't wear Jordans, but I like Nikes. I like the Air Max 90s.
Okay.
I like, what else? I like the 270s, but those are old now. They don't make them.
Apparel,
I have
obviously.
Vapor Maxes as well.
Okay.
And then the gym clothing. Like this doesn't appeal to me at all. Like I don't. All their declining stuff is not stuff that I'm interested in.
That you're interested in?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it shows, right? People are losing interest in it. So a lot going on. Obviously, gross margins declining as well.
Oh,
right,
I didn't know that there was a video, Ram. I had no idea.
Ram.
Shame on me, huh? Okay.
All right. Well, nice. Nike's gross margins declined 41.5, down to 41.5% from 44.8% last year. As Sharif mentioned, we got the Nike brand down 9% year over year. Footwear down 9% year over year. Apparel is the only positive thing that I'm looking at. Converse just getting absolutely lit up. And this is what we were talking about. The margin compression just due to the discounts and everything along those lines, Sharif, is obviously not good whatsoever.
No.
But this downtrend here is just fully intact. I think that it's going to remain that way until they can get some things to turn around. Did it say anything about inventories, like how inventories are doing there? Are we starting?
Industry checks, Nike commentary point to stabilization in Air Force Ones and Air Jordan 1 demand. Historical sneaker cycle typically bottoms out 40 to 70 month. Current cycles are 63. No, brother.
So yeah, you want to see how they're sitting, on how long each individual item is sitting in the store as well too, right? So the longer, the worse, obviously that is, because you're not churning product, and at that point you have to put in the discounts, and then that's when you start losing margin.
And we also saw that they kind of changed their approach. They were trying to take the direct-to-consumer online ads, or online sales, and their Nike stores. And they've kind of gotten away from that with the new CEO. Absolutely. They're saying, we're putting stuff back into Foot Locker, we're putting stuff back into Dick's Sporting Goods. We want that three-wall exposure. Exactly. We want people to come in and see our stuff IRL, in real life. Yeah. And
I mean, I remember when they opened up the Nike store in Sherway. I don't know if you've ever been to that one.
I've been to Sherway.
Yeah, it's just like you go in there, and it's almost like everything in that store is a luxury brand. Sweater, $150, $200, sweatpants, right? It does last a long time, but you have to think of the popularity in which Nike has. Like, it's probably one of the most popular brands on the planet. Yeah. Is it luxury, or is it for the common individual? And I'm gonna go with the latter half there.
Yeah, man, they are a lot more expensive. Yeah. So typically where I do get my Nike is Winners. So that's like TJ Maxx or Marshalls. That's typically where I get my stuff there. So it's heavily discounted. All right, let's go on to the next story here, Joey. This is one that's going to be right down your alley. TKO bringing prediction markets into combat sports. We're going to follow on the story with what I was talking about with Vegas in the morning. So TKO, which is UFC and Zuffa Boxing, has signed a multi-year deal with Polymarket, making them the first sports organization to integrate real-time prediction markets into live events. Polymarket will feed live sentiment and momentum probabilities directly into broadcasts and the arena screen. So for TV and for arena viewers, adding a new interactive layer into combat sports. And the CEO, Ari Emanuel, said the partnership will unlock a new dimension fan engagement, turning passive viewers into active participants. It's kind of designed to complement, not replace, traditional sports betting. So they're offering real-time crowd expectation shifts as the fight evolves. For TKO, the feature creates a sticky, data-driven experience that could boost dwell time. I've never heard that expression before. Viewership and social integration. But Polymarket is already expanding into sports, and I'll get to that in a second. They've been rapidly expanding beyond politics, beyond macro events, adding partnerships like with the NHL that we saw, Prize Picks as well earlier this year. CEO of Polymarket, Shane Copland, saying, combat sports are uniquely suited, though, for prediction markets because fans can track sentiment changes round by round. So we'll have to see how that does. And we know, Joey, the streaming shift is coming to Paramount in 2026, hence why you and I were talking about buying PSKY. Starting in 26, all UFC, all Zuffa, is it Zuffa or Zuffa?
I have no idea.
Boxing events will stream exclusively, Joey, on Paramount Plus in the US, and it aligns with the larger push by TKO to kind of centralize their broadcasting
Can
rights.
you read that line again on sentiment shift one more time?
Which one?
Was that a little bit higher?
This one?
No, does it say something about sentiment shift?
Yeah,
so they're saying
sentiment changes round by round,
So the CEO, Shane Copland, says combat sports are uniquely suited for prediction markets because the fans can track. Okay, yeah, absolutely, but I think that's in every sport, though. Like, you can see, it's like, okay, in a football game, we're not getting any yards, it's 3 and out, or whatever it may be.
Right.
In a fight, I think it's the exact same thing. Obviously, you can see sentiment shifts, but obviously the odds aren't going to be in your favor. I like to play 110%. I love everything that Dana White does. He's one of my favorite CEOs, presidents, whatever you would like to call him. So I like this play 100% because I'm looking for a potential bet right now for the 2 title fights that we got going on this week.
All right, I'm just going to get to the other headline here that has to do with Polymarket and such. I'm just trying to not show my emails, so I'm just going to open up this new document and paste it into there. Okay, so here's the deal, Neil. This is what we're talking about. So what happened? The Nevada Gaming Control Board, they issued a formal notice in October of this year stating that sport event contracts, for example, prediction market style contracts for the outcomes of sporting or other events are to be treated the exact same way as wagering is treated under Nevada law, even if they are offered via federally regulated exchanges, such as those on the Commodity Future Trading Commission, the CFTC. Okay, the letter specifically states that offering such contracts or partnering with an equity or an entity, that offers them in another state may jeopardize the license's good character or suitability for gaming licenses. So on November 12th, they sent a letter, and the NGCB formally accepted their surrender of Flutter Entertainment's, which is the parent of FanDuel, their Nevada registration and associated license. So they gave up their license in Nevada. At the same time, the NGCB approved a withdrawal of all pending Nevada applications by DraftKings. So FanDuel and DraftKings withdrew their licenses from Nevada in order to be able to offer you the sports betting in the predictive markets through the CFTC. So that's interesting there. I mean, it's not market moving, but it's something to notice, especially with, DKNG really taken a hit lately on the stock price because of the emerging importance of Kalshi and Polymarket. Something to be aware of.
What's Penn Gaming been up to? We don't really talk about that too much.
No, we don't say too much about it.
We don't say Penn, so shout out to Portnoy and company. I mean, there it is, Sharif. This thing's not looking too good either. What's DKNG's daily been up to? Damn. All right. I mean, it's not too...
Katina Man still short, Tesla at 400,
weekly
guys.
Isn't bad, though. The weekly isn't bad. I like this print at the weekly. A nice
the market's almost
print.
at 25,000 again, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
down 2 1/3.
Bitcoin's what, at 98 now?
I have no idea. That's the beautiful thing about trading small caps. You don't even look at the market. Let's go on to the next one here. JP Morgan turns bullish on Circle after a major sell-off. I like this. The thing drops bigly, and then all of a sudden they're going long. All right, JP Morgan double upgraded Circle from underweight to overweight, signaling a full reversal in sentiment. Analyst Kenneth Worthington raised the price target to $100 from $94. That's not that much, man. For a double upgrade? Really? Implying a 16% upside. Circle stock is highly volatile, of course, with shares up 178% from the IPO price of 31, but still down 67% from the June highs, creating what JPM calls a buying opportunity. Their words, not mine. We know what their Circle did for their earnings, so we won't go through that. Here's what JPM is arguing. They're saying JPM argues Circle is benefiting from the trend of stablecoins integrating into mainstream or major financial services, with USDC maintaining its leadership status. They're bringing more USDC on platform, which is enabling greater control, higher monetization, and deeper network effects. The bank sees these developments as strong tailwinds for longer-term growth, and they also see it as an infrastructure play. Circle is trying to position itself not as a speculative crypto asset, but as a payment infrastructure provided with Web3 economy. They note also Circle's ability to invest aggressively into its network should drive higher throughput and adoption. What's your take here on Circle?
I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty good look, right? We've been talking about it for quite some time, just the transition into some of these stable coins and just what you save from them. Transaction fees is just easier to transport anywhere around the world. So, and then we had JPM coming out with theirs as well too. So keep that in mind. Circle, not too good from a daily perspective, heading lower and lower here. 83.12 is now that move. And you thought this was going to be one of the better performing out of the IPO. That definitely isn't the case whatsoever. But hey, just be patient on this, wait for something to come into play, and then hopefully these markets can turn around. Now, as for the Bitcoin, let's take a look at this here and see what we got going on. So here it is on Bitcoin, guys, now down to 98.5, which isn't too good of a look. Breaking through some key support levels, in which I think we're going to continue some more downward momentum. We want to keep an eye on what we got going on here. If this trend decides to hold up, then we're going to get that move into around 96,000 roughly, and then maybe we get a bounce. Once we crack that, then it's not going to be good whatsoever. You could start to see maybe on a higher time frame, and you don't want to be too predictable, but shoulder one head and then potential of shoulder two as well. Keep that in mind, guys. So anything a bounce at this point with my specific trade, I'm just looking to get out break even for now.
All right, guys, IONZ at the high of the day, 582. I think we're done. 582, guys, we're up about 24%, a little shy of 24% on IONZ. Continues to trend up. It's been, I mean, respectful of all the trends. So let's see how this one ends up doing. Still keeping an eye here on CYCU, still hanging out at the high of the day. It's a 423 high, currently showing me 20s. We've got on 83s. Let's see if we can get a little bit more here, because this one seems like a bull flag forming, with the top, of course, being at 23. Let's take a better look here at the 10 EMA, or sorry, the 5-minute chart. So there's kind of what I perceive to be that nice break off the 10 EMA right around 386. We have a longer period of consolidation now where we're generally holding, you know, that low teens to mid 20s range, with again 23 being the high. Let's see if we can get that continuation above the $0.25. I'd like to build a position towards, you know, that 12, 13, maybe mid-teens for continuation, possibly into that $0.25, or maybe even more on CYCU. This one, though, OLTK has been a dog for me all day. It just dropped into 50 pennies, and that is my invitation to get out. And we didn't take anything there, so we're still holding the entire position on OLTK. As this one, I was looking for it to hold 55. There was certainly a buyer at 55. It has since lost that level, and we are gonzino on that, so we'll flatten out. That would be my biggest loser on the day. OLTK, not a good look. TSDD, which is the 2 times inverse leveraged ETF for Tesla at day's high. That automatically means to me that Tesla is at day's low or near day's low. 1131 high, we're showing 26s now. This has just been a buy off the 10 EMA with only one print. I want to say in the last, how long, Joey? Since basically 9:30, one print got to the 20. Everything else was above the 10 EMA or in between the 10 and the 20. So the strength on TSDD continues to really manifest here. If you were taking some of these inverse leverage ETFs today, whether RGTZ, IONZ, PLTZ, they've all been printing. Joey, what's your look?
Yeah. I want to take a look at some of these from the daily to see how they're rocking and rolling. IONZZ, right, is that 2x long. Dang. All right, so that's starting to curl over, man. That's some interesting stuff. This is obviously the appreciation in IONQ, or ick, maybe whatever you would like to call it, but now you're starting to get that curl over. So keep an eye out. Let's take a look at the actual underlying and see what we got going on. Oh man. Listen, I understand it. Like, this is the run that you go on since September, a little bit more from a year. Let's get a percentage metric at that point. If you're an early investor in these names, then you're sitting pretty good. But if you're an individual who's buying around these tops and $40 and et cetera, if you bought up here in around $70 thinking that you're going to climb to $100 really quick in some of these quantum names, well, guess what? Congratulations. You're down 47.5%, which isn't very good whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. Again, so we'll look at RGTI and see what we got going on with this one. This is ugly too, 58%, or sorry, $58 now down to 56% there. That's not good, but if you're an early investor, we'll go back to that September metric, you're up substantially, but this isn't good stuff here, right? You get the volume really start to kick in, and then sure enough, you just give up the majority of it as some of these companies aren't turning a profit quite yet.
Yeah, man, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, still holding this position here. I think I might add a little bit now that we did dip into the 10 EMA on CYCU on the 5-minute chart. It got bought up right away, right into 15s. Again, we go. So we know that, I mean, the last few candles, in fact, have all been bottoming tail candles into the 10 EMA. Let me make my argument. Starting at around 115, we drop into the 10, bought up immediately. Again, 120, drop into the 10, bought up. 125, bought up. And then the latest over here, 145, not as aggressive of a drop, we get bought up. Now, that's the good news. That's the positive side of things. What's the other side? Well, we're putting in lower highs, albeit not by that much, though. So if we look at that 423 high, each successive 5-minute candle has a little bit of a lower high. So we know that either the profit takers are becoming, less exuberant or taking profits at lower and lower levels, or the shorts are becoming more exuberant and shorting at lower and lower levels. So let's see how CYCU starts trading as it comes right back down into the 10. Adara.
More Fed talk to be aware of here. Fed Muslim expressing some caution, saying that he supported rate cuts to this point in order to protect the labor market, but that right now the Fed needs to proceed with caution. So again, Fed's Muslim saying that the labor market was the reason for the cuts as of this point, but now more caution is required. It's interesting, too, because we actually had Fed's Hammock earlier today, who's also been very hawkish, and she was actually saying that she's not even sure the labor market is quite as weak as other people are interpreting it to be. So labor market continues to be a point of contention for these Feds. Back to you.
NVE here continues to do well. It's a sub $1 name. Oops. What is this thing doing, dude? Sorry. NVE. There we go. It's a sub $1 name, but it's been trending up, and I want to say since it gave up VWAP at around 1140, it's been an unabated uptrend with a 64-penny high, and the tape is starting to pick up here. So let's see if we can work into a little bit of NVE for a 60-penny break. We'll take some at 59s there, but I'll be looking to add some on dips into 55 and into 52.5. But let's see if we can get continuation onto this. I'm going to wait here at 60 for a quick beak wetter. Let's go ahead. We're almost at 60. There it is, almost there. 59.99 showing up. I sound like an infomercial, bro. Let's put some at 63 as well, Joey. That will be close to the high of the day. The high of the day is 64.5, but there's a seller of note here on NVV at 60 that we can't quite shake. This one is up big on the day, man. 281%, just below 300. And we've already traded 1.15 billion shares on this name. So there's been ample amount of liquidity. God knows what the float is. Probably multiple times float rotation today, Joey. So keeping my eye on NVVE. Separately, IONZ right back into that high a day, showing me 82s. Should have been adding on the way up here. I did add several times, but it's never enough. So IONZ also in focus. TSDD continues to rock, man. Beautiful look here on the Tesla inverse ETF. There it is, TSDD. Oh, is that the Amex? Yeah, it's on, no. What the hell, am I typing this wrong? TSDD on the NQ. Oh. There's no way it's on the NY. Yes. Okay, we don't have it on our network.
It's not AM?
No, I tried. Yeah, .am. No, it's not. That's all good. it continues to ride up, guys. So not going to be able to trade it, obviously, but it continues to be quite strong. There goes NVVE through 60. Here comes 61 now. We just put on shares, so let's take out some more here. Good strength on this name. Let's see if we can ride it up, Joey, into high day. 64.5 is the HOD.
All right, yeah, Dan Gale in Vancouver Islander. Let me know when you guys are going there. I'll go and wait in the line with you. 110%. Let's take a look at some of the other names. I was just telling Gore, man, I think at this point, for our style and our system, it's best that we just sit on our hands right now instead of trying to catch this falling knife that is the market. Look at coin here continuing to bleed. Guys, we'll go over some of these crypto names. I know Ethereum's down 6%, but here it is, bang. Flat bottom break right there, 293 play, Sharif. Failed high to be established on this previous pivot right from this specific candle in which I was looking at in the earlier months of the summer. You pump up to 403, and then now you're down substantially from that previous high. 444 is what we're going to call it, and now you are currently down 36%. Not very much fun now, is it? Well, good thing you're not, yeah, but there it is. Good thing you're not an Ethereum holder because you are down 35% from those previous highs. So unfortunately, Tom Lee, if you're grabbing some more of this stuff, you're going to need that yield to most definitely come into play and stake that stuff. But there's coin. What's another crypto play here, Sharif? BMNR, considering we're speaking
you don't want to look at that right now.
$36.
I just saw it on my phone.
I'm not in it.
I just looked at my phone. I'm still in it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, he's got a little bit more than what.
I don't have varying convictions where I come in and say one stock the next day and then change my mind the day after that. That's not my style.
I'll do that, man. I'll be like, hey, I like this, and then the next day I don't like it so much. But as for MSTR, boom, 146 all the way to here, 61.7% off of that November 19th high of 2024. That's not a good look whatsoever. And it's the same narrative across the board. And a lot of the stocks in general is look at the double tops being formed with key support levels starting to be breached.
Well said, Joey. I tried to get some out there at 63. I fumbled the keys. It popped up into 62. I'm talking about NVE. It's still holding trend with the 10 EMA showing me 56s. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on, because this current 5-minute candle, despite the fact that it's actually red at the moment, has a higher low and a higher high. What I'll be looking for is a defend at 55. If we don't get the defend on 55 on NVVE, I'll get out, but it's still riding trend, and I want to see if we can squeeze into 64.5. We're going to Adara.
I'm just seeing here, guys, Boeing's defense unit apparently accepting their contract and ending the strike. So it looks like BA defense union strike is over from what I'm seeing on X. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But BA actually already has recovered a bit decently off of these lows. Back to you.
ONZ at the day high, 86s. There it is, 24.5%. We'll take off the last little bit there. Good trade here on IONZ. Could have been better. Should have been adding more aggressively on the way up, as it was showing me that it was very, very respectful of trend, most notably, of course, the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. This one looks like it's slated to go to 6. It is an inverse leverage ETF. Two times, so 200%. It's up 24.5%, and it's got a very, very directional look. That means IONQ is getting absolutely shellacked. So we can do the math. If this is 24% up, then IONQ has to be down 12%. Let's see if that's the case. Where's IONQ trade, on the New York? Yeah, it is. It's on the New York. And it is down, come on, computer, you can do it, down 12% exactly. So there it is, guys. You could take it through the inverse ETF, but you'd have to cough up less money. IONZ is 586, and IONQ is 44 bucks. So for those with smaller accounts, this one probably would have made a little bit of sense, Joey.
All right, cool, good stuff there. Yeah, let's take a look at our scanner and see what we got going on. Or we could do this. We only got a couple minutes left. We haven't yet. I don't think anything has been triggered, but we'll go through a couple of the names here to see if we find anything. There could be some prints potentially. We'll take a look at IBIT. There it is, bang. We'll pull this up and we'll get this rocking and rolling for. I have completed it. I think on a session like today around noon, I would just completely shut this thing off and not even look at it whatsoever. So this is the daily. We don't want this. We want to head over to the 5-minute. Today is the 13th. So this trade worked out relatively well for us. Let's take a look at that entry price, and then you get that fill in the gap up, but it's starting to find a signal here on today's session. So when I get that notification and that high breaks, if not, it's about a 45-minute span in which that trigger will cancel. That's a trigger right there. But on yesterday's, we hit that target, which is a really nice one there. You can see the size that it puts on and everything along those lines, and then eventually when you're in and you're out is. So right off of those lows leading into the post market, and then you get that fill. Now then we'll go take a look at the analysis. You're shooting a 50% accuracy right there, not too bad of a look. Percentage profitability, and then your profit factor is actually outstanding on this in the span of a month. October 6th to November 13th, 4.309. And as for the performance, what a face slapper that is, man. Some good stuff on there. We'll take a look at some NVDA to see if it's picked up any signals on today's session. Relatively well, but you can still see in that month span, profitable. We like that profit factor around 2.55 with a 66% accuracy. We'll take that all day, every day. November 10th was the last time it triggered, and sure enough, it hit that profit target in the same intraday session. What I can do is also we can tweak this so that it exits, regardless of its negative or profitable, you can get it to trigger you out on the market close. And that's something that I'm going to modify slightly. I don't want it for every single scenario, but from an intraday standpoint, if that's all you're looking for and you don't want to hold everything all night, you can do a small tweak on that front. Now let's see the name that has been trending significantly better as of late. What outstanding performance here, guys, on AMD, Sharif. We got another 50% accuracy right there with a profit factor of 3.62%. The previous trade was on November 11th, and it triggers us out in the pre-market on the 12th of November, so a couple of days ago. Nice signal, breaches to the top side, never stopped out whatsoever, and that is your bites the bucks.
I like that.
Yeah, that's yours. That was your thing, man.
Yeah, I know. But
I just you see how I started with the bites to bucks and then ended with it? Yeah, taking it from Katina, man. You what's for lunch, start with it, and then you end a little bit.
Guys, CYCU is back into the high day. There's 423. This is the high. Now, look, there's barely anything posted here on the gateway. You got 40 lots here, 40 lots, 38, 38, 6, 6, 5, 3. There it goes into a new high a day, and boom, Joey, we take out the top at 35s. Good trade on CYCU, up 35%. Good price spike up. Shouldn't have taken us some out at 20s there. It was dilly-dallying, so I'm like, there's only a few minutes left. Let me wet the beak. But it's okay, 435 high, good trade on this one. Let's see if it holds up at the 10. The 10 EMA on the 5, where it's been holding up all day, is 412. Monster topping tail candle now on the 5, and on the 1, this is really ugly as people really take profits aggressively at this level. Do we lose the 10 though? Topping tail, one thing, fine, but do we break trend by losing the 10 EMA? And we are losing it, and we're losing it in a hurry. $4, 405 here, so maybe I don't feel that bad about taking out 20s. Let's see if it holds up at 4. It's certainly not holding up at the 10 EMA, or maybe is that because it's an 8-penny spread, 9 pennies now on this one, so sometimes it'll zig and zag at these levels. We'll come back to it. NVVE added aggressively into 55s, looking for a profit taker at 58s. So we'll take off that, and we'll look to take out some here as we were above my DCA. So we'll post some as well at 58.5. So let's go ahead and put a sell order at 58.5. Just trying to type in that, not used to using these mid prints. So showing me 57 and a third, 268%, still riding trend here on NVE, but not exactly rocketing up. We need a 60 penny break. It seems like the sellers are targeting that 60 penny break, or that 60 penny level, excuse me, over and over, because we marginally get above it. Like, look over here, we got to 62, drop all the way back down to 52. We get into 62 again. We drop down into 55 this time, not quite as low. So maybe that will buoy the buyers, because they'll see it's a higher low and they'll accumulate for a trend break like I'm doing right now. So maybe we'll keep an eye out on this one. Quickly, back to CYCU. As quickly as this one lost the 10 EMA, is as quickly as it regained it right back into the quarter dollar. In fact, it's ahead of the quarter dollar into 28s, up 33, 34%. That's an ugly topping tail candle into 35, Joey, but you know, sometimes you get stop hunted, and it feels like that this is what it was. So if you were placing your stop below the 10 exponential moving average, you likely got stop hunted. But if you were looking at the 20, which is a skosh above that $4 area, I think at 403s or 404s, you did fine, and you did even better if you added at those levels. Good luck for those traders. Let's go back now to NVE. There it goes into 58, and that's where we'll wet the beak after that add at 55. Is looking for more now in the 60s. Actually, let's wait at 59 before we take out some into 60s there. And then we'll post at 61. Good strength here from NVE as we wind down the show, Joey. Oh, it's 2 o'clock.
It's wound down now.
2 o'clock. I didn't even notice, man.
It's wound down now, my brother. That's
Neil's like, it's okay, baby.
See, we ramble on.
Appreciate that. All right, guys, send him off, Joey.
Leafs Kings tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop 4 in a row, but we'll stay optimistic.
They dropped 3 in a row? Oh, boy. That's no good.
They're second last in the conference, like 5th last in the league, yeah.
How? What, like, did the team change fundamentally?
Well, I mean, they lost, like, probably their second best player.
Nylander, right?
No, Marner, Marner to Vegas. But I don't know.
Yeah, but, like, one player does all that for
apparently, these guys can't get it together. So, yeah, that's a tough look, guys. Looking forward to the fights this weekend.
All right, guys. See everybody at the big desk.
I thought that was Sean was me there saying short 400.